Okay guys, welcome back to the Kanalgratis live show. I'm Pontus Sjölund, and the guest for today is well-known Niklaus Bauer.
Hi.
Right now in Finalizing 8, and we've seen you for many years on the channel. Yeah, that's quite an understatement.
The 8 years, or you see me a lot?
Yeah, we see you a lot.
Yeah, that's the case. Yeah.
Okay, so warm welcome to the studio. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
We have a packed schedule today. We're going to tie some flies.
Yep.
We're going to talk a lot about fly versus jerk.
Yep.
And the sport fishing fair and the finale that's going to be there.
Yep.
And
that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be really
We're going to have some really cool giveaways of some cool new stuff. And also the fly that we're going to tie, we're going to give away. So, yeah, really a lot on the schedule today.
Yep. Busy morning.
Busy morning, yeah. Nice to have you here, tying flies, talking shit about fly versus jerk. And
Yeah, icy conditions. And
yeah, so we released episode 3 on last Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, what's your thoughts about that?
Well, it was actually pretty. I mean, I really want to have fish. I want to catch a lot of fish. You know, I want to do a good show. You know, but when we got that situation when it was predicting -1, the forecast, all the weather forecasts were predicting -1 to -2, and then when we wake up, we have like -7.5, and we just realize that this is going to be really tough. We drive south where we're going to fish, and most of the places we see, even the rivers were frozen.
Yeah.
All the eddings were frozen, so we were kind of like, oh shit, this is going to be tough. We still launched a boat. It's still 7.5 minus or 6.5 minus. It was really a beautiful morning.
Yeah,
it was really a picture morning. All the smoke from the water, and the water temperature dropped almost 5 degrees during the night. And a place we just fished 2 days before, and we had so much fish in that cove. And it was 5 or 6 degrees 2 days before, and now it was completely frozen.
Frozen ice, rock solid.
Yeah,
I was in your boat. It was indeed a very beautiful morning. Can't complain
cold.
about that. Yeah, cold, but
it was really bad.
yeah, and then you, what did you decide to do then?
Well, we kind of made a few overlay, kind of discussed what we were supposed to do, and we took the decision that we need to go to the hotel. We need to drive south, drive down back to Stockholm.
Spend that day driving south.
Yeah, that was the game plan, and then try to make one stop to be able to catch some fish, so it wouldn't be like a 1 fish or 0 fish day. And then Thomas and I were in the car, and we discussed with all this what we're going to do, and then we have to trick them so they don't know we're in the car. I mean, we're going to go for big fish in the river, so that was the plan, you know.
And actually, we have a clip of that prepared that we're going to show now, where you stopping like 5 minutes before the report to stop by a river. Now we're going to try to trick them. Yes. See now if Matilda is in the control room today, so we'll see if she catches up.
But how do we get? Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
you got the leader.
Leader touch. Drove the boat really close to the to the river and trying to catch a fish.
Yeah, it was a power plant, and we don't even know what river we fished. To be honest, we were kind of like, let's just drove it to make a few.
You weren't even supposed to catch fish.
No, that was
like the first cast.
I think it was my second cast, and then something like that. And then
and it was just to be able to say that we fished the river.
Yeah. So. And it was fun because we asked you, so, is it okay to fish from the boat if it's on the trailer on the road? And you were like, okay.
Yeah, the rules say that you need to fish from a boat in fly versus jerk, because for practical reasons. And but this is allowed. I mean, you fished from a boat. So well done there.
Well, it was kind of a fun situation. I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun doing that.
From the reactions of the other teams, it seems like they really swallowed the bait, so to speak.
Well, and I think that they were very surprised that we only had 1 fish.
Yeah.
I mean, we usually have pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
So I think they were very surprised that we only had 1 fish. If they thought a little bit further what we were kind of doing, you know, fishing a big river north of Sweden, they were. I hope they swallowed the bait a little bit, you know.
But, seemed like that.
But we don't know.
Yeah, and actually that was probably my best memory from Fly versus Jerk 8 was when we came to that bay and saw all the ice, and your face reactions on that, it was just crazy, and the area just went.
Yeah, but it wasn't only that it was completely covered in ice. That pass into that cove is usually a meter.
Yeah.
And my boat runs in maybe 20 centimeters of water. It's really skinny boat, so you can get it into really shallow water. And we got stuck. We actually got stuck trying to get in to break the ice.
Yeah.
So, and the ice was, the water was just coming out of that cove like a river. So even if we would have been able to get in, break some ice and fish it, we would have been stuck in there, you know. So it wasn't an option. All the water in the ocean level just dropped with that
like
nice
that.
weather. So
yeah,
we didn't have any other option, you know. And
no.
When the weather forecasts are so completely wrong, well, what can you do?
Yeah. And actually, we have a screenshot of your face reaction from the episode that actually didn't go in the final episode. So it's kind of a new screenshot. So down in the left corner we have Niklaus Bauer, and Thomas Söberg is a bit more grumpy, so he's down to the right.
Oh shit! Well,
that was what you looked like.
Yeah. We were surprised, but those swans that would come and fly. Okay, they're gonna go into the bay and land there. They're not landing. Fuck, it's ice. Oh no! That was tough.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
But it happens. That's fishing. It's filmed, reality film. You can't do anything about it. I mean, this is what happens, you know. And things is tough to do stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
But we never quit.
We never quit. Vision Sweden never quit.
No.
And also, people, make sure to drop your comments, and I will keep an eye on them. And if you have any questions for Niklaus Bauer about fly versus jerk or pike fly fishing in general, or anything. And also, please let me know which countries you're watching from. That's always very fun to hear. I've seen hello from the USA, hello from the Netherlands. Mikael Jensen hopes that you will get better fishing in the next episode.
Well, it will be better. I can promise you that.
Yeah, he was almost crying when you placed bets with his friends.
Oh, okay.
So you need to step up.
You can drop me an email next time so you can have a better possibility to bet.
Exactly. So if we're going to keep talking fly versus jerk, now that you know episode 3, the results of that, which team do you think is your biggest threat so far?
Well, it's always everybody can be a threat because we're 4 teams. A big fish can change the game so fast, you know, and 2 big fish can be a game changer completely. So, well, for this day, I definitely think that Klaus and Mickey Nilsson are going to be they have kind of an open field, at least from our sign-up point of view.
Yeah.
But you never know with the Finnish guys. They have surprised before. I mean, they're really skilled anglers.
Yeah.
I know Puru is catching, you know, a few 10-kilo fish every year in those spots where they're actually fishing.
Yeah, so now they're allowed to fish in Finland.
Yeah, so I mean, it's his home waters or basically their home waters. So, I mean, a big fish is always there. Everything can happen. So
and everything changes as well. You know, the first day I know that you thought that, oh crap, now Truman is going to catch the number point all days with these 100 plus fish. But then they moved from northern parts to the southern parts. So.
But if they were in the northern part of Finland and we were in the northern part of Sweden, of course they had the same cold front coming down. Kind of, we saw it. I mean, when we got the information that they were in Finland, then we looked at all the weather charts, you know, where is everybody, you know, and then you can kind of realize that, okay, they're in that county, you know, so then you can say, okay, they have to move because they have the same situation like we have, you know.
Maybe Finland has more accurate weather forecasts. Maybe they took the same decision as you, but one day before.
One day before, I don't know, that was crazy. But that's life, you know.
That's life.
And next time it can be completely different. It can be a completely different game changer. I mean, we can have a better weather than they're predicting, and then it can be a completely different game, you know.
Yeah.
But if we were been able to stay up north and plan to travel even further north and fish rivers and lakes and what our plan was, I think we would have been a very, very tough competitor to beat.
Yeah.
Now I think it's a wide open game, you know. So
anything can happen.
Yeah, everything can happen now. So.
And I'll see if we have any questions. We have Germany watching. Nice to see that. And Poland, Austria, Holland, Scotland. Lots of cool countries.
Cool.
Slovakia. And we have a question here from Patrick Hammar. He bought a Vision Atom set last year, and he wonders if he can use that for perch fishing. kind of off topic today, but can you use that for perch?
You can use basically any rod combination for perch. The only thing you have to, if it's a 5-weight or 6-weight, they work perfect. Just buy a sinking line so you can get the flies a little bit deeper down. He probably bought a 5 or a 6-weight, so if he bought, just buy a sinking line for it, like the one that Daniel and Stefan is using in Perch Pro.
Vibe 85.
Vibe 85 Sync 3. It's a perfect line. Just buy it in the right class for the rod, and then just fish whatever flies you want to use. It's going to work perfect. So.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
We have also Estonia watching, Denmark, Belarus, and Italy, like all European countries. Super cool. And American.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning over in the States. We get some fly tying questions, and we're gonna come back to that later in the show when we're gonna, like in 20 minutes or something, we're gonna start tying flies, and then we're gonna do it step by step, like a Thai TV but live.
Yep.
And you guys can ask all your questions then. So save your fly tying questions for when we start tying flies. And now it's time to actually look at the sneak peek for episode 4 of Fly vs. Jerk. Unshown material. This is like a preview of the sneak peek. Like a sneak peek of the sneak peek. Yeah.
That was a lot of sneaks.
Yeah, sneak.
Okay, cool.
So let's have a look at that now.
No, we're gonna fish some more.
Fish in Sweden never quits.
Good.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we got it. Somebody's been biting this one.
Yes. This is exciting.
Fish. Good man. Oh, fish.
Bam. I like this.
So that's some cool stuff.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
The Finnish guys are behaving. Good job, guys.
Yeah, seems like they're
stepping up the game. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. And seems like you're catching some fish as well.
Oh yeah. It's not going to be a 1 pike game next episode. Definitely not.
No.
So we made a quick boat launch and fished for I think an hour and a half or something like that. And
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool cove. The small white fish. We call it siklöja in Swedish. They go into spawn in this cove, so usually a lot of pike gather in that cove, and it can usually pull pretty big numbers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a 1.5 hours. Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, really cool. And talking about Fly vs. Jerk, you are coming to the Sportfiskemässa, the sport fishing fair, of course, and the finale at Harris in Köping, and we're going to find out there. The winners and all that, and we're going to celebrate with the winners.
Cool.
So, and sport fishing fair. Further, what are you going to do on the sport fishing fair?
Well, we're going to have like normal a pretty big booth. I think we're going to have
for vision
and fly dressing. Yeah. So we're going to have 100 square meters of a stand. We have invited Paolo from Italy, who is the inventor of all these dragon tails and wave tails and wiggle tails. So he's going to be. So he's going to be in our stand, but you can actually have an exclusive fly tying course with him. 2 people per day. It's
that's
going to be free. Yeah, that's really, really cool
and
stuff.
he's a great guy. Yeah. Really nice and super skilled. He's that kind of person that knows everything. If you ask him anything about what he's doing, he knows every single detail of it.
And the cool thing is he's standing and he's tying flies, and he's tying that perfect flies, and he's looking into your eyes, and he's tying it, and he's kind of like, so he's like, hey, you have to watch your fly, man. You're tying it. That's me. It's just
excellent.
So it's going to be cool. Of course, we're going to have all the guys working for us, and we're gonna have the Perch Pro guys, Stefan and Daniel. They're gonna be in there, and they're definitely gonna have their big Perch Pro, I don't know what you call it, but their trophy. So
yeah,
it's going to be in the center of the stand. they're pretty happy with that, and they should be.
And we'll see if it gets accompanied by the silver one, the Fly vs. Jerk.
Okay.
Trophy.
Should I make a spot for it?
Yeah, make some room for that. Who knows?
I don't think so. But
Well,
that would be a cocky one if we could have 2 of those in
Yeah.
the stand. Yeah.
well, we'll see.
And also my good friend Jonathan Backlure, who's painting all the tails that we sell.
Skilled lure builder and also
and really good painter. He's going to be in the stand, custom painting the wave tails, or not the wave tails, but also wave tails and dragon tails. So you could actually come to the stand and you can have your own. You can design your own dragon tail and
Like
he'll
an
paint it
open
for
source,
you. Yeah, open source.
That's cool.
And all the money is going to go to fish charity. So I think it's going to cost like just a small sum.
Yeah.
But that's going to go to like a Gefan i våra vatten project or something like
Yeah.
that. So to contribute to the fishing pressure we put on the fish, So.
Yeah.
So
Especially with dragon tails, they're too effective.
they're too effective. I mean, that's the case. So we need to give something back there.
Yeah.
And we're also going to launch the new the wave tails. I mean, they're not a brand new product, but it's going to be something that we're kind of gonna launch. And
If you hold it up further, we can have a close look at it, what it looks like.
That's how it looks like. And these are custom painted.
So it's like a straight tail, like a non-action tail. But
It really kicks. And I like the way you can do with different flies that you can actually have. If we can zoom into the fish tank here, we have. I don't know if we got that.
Yeah, we have it in the fish tank here. We just need to catch up with the zoom. It's a bit slow. It's not manually controlled. It's like a robot. So
here you can
it's a bit
see.
twitchy.
So this is actually the fly, or the same type of fly we're going to tie in the afternoon now, or a little bit later here. This is articulated, and it has it's tied on a 35mm shank in the back here, and then we have the attachment for whatever type of tail you want to have on here. But this is a wave tail, and you can really see how the fly kicks, and then you can put a dragon tail or whatever, and you're going to have a completely different movement on the fly. So that's basically a little bit, it's cool. You can have one pattern, and you can have a lot of different ways to use it.
That's cool.
So that's a little bit different. It's a little bit, you can change the game.
Yeah.
From a bait that is really pushing a lot of water to a bait that really
More
kicks
discreet.
sideways and almost looking like a Buster York or something like that.
Yeah.
So
And just like this, it looks like this won't add any action, but it really does.
Yep.
Swims
True.
like crazy.
Yeah. And also it doesn't put so much resistance in the water like a dragon tail or a wiggle tail, so it can make the fly move in a different way, So, and the dragon tails, like we filmed them in the River Rue the other day here for Thai TV, and I mean they can actually get the fly to do a belly flash.
Yeah,
and that's
crazy.
It's crazy. I've never been able to do that before. So.
No. It was actually not to take any credit, but it was my idea. Like, okay, what happens if you put this big wiggle here on this? Big,
Nobody's gonna know
dragon
about
tail?
that.
On the small fly.
Yeah.
And like you said, the problem might be that when you don't have a hook in the back, it might get many short bites.
But it's the same like that fly you have on your table that we're actually going to give away today. I think that's the fly I caught the 2 biggest fish on the first episode of. So it's a very small green and gold fly, but we have a stinger in the back, just to have those when they go for the big tail. So we're going to give that away. I don't know how we're going to give it away. But
no, we can do it. We can do it after the show, maybe.
Yep.
And we can put it up a picture on Kanalgratis Instagram, and people can drop their comments there, and we can pick a winner tonight. The very fly that Niklaus Bauer caught his 2 biggest fish on the first 2 episodes of Fly vs. Jerk.
It's got a new dragon tail on it though, so the other one was pretty chewed after 30 fish, something like that.
And that was the first time you tried the dragon tail, the Fly vs. Jerk.
Yeah. You had them on the airplane.
I brought them, from Stockholm.
So
we're gonna have a close-up of it.
They've been very well used since then. We've got a lot of big fish.
They're very well proven.
Yep.
I saw some comments about the audio and that it went away when we show pictures of Lay. So I hope the control room has control of that. Let's see if we have more questions here. Jan-Erik Johansson wonders if we shouldn't make a Fly TV episode from Mora or Älvdalen soon. Who knows?
I've been there, fished some pike, but that was really slow. But they have really, really good grayling fishing, and I know Stefan from Älvdalen is doing a very good job up there with getting the size a little bit bigger. So, 15 years ago, all the graylings were very, very small. But now they have done a lot of work together with all the fishing clubs and restoration up there. So the size are becoming really, really big. So that's cool. But maybe, I don't know. We'll see. It's not this year in any case. Everything is planned this year. So we're doing a lot of crazy stuff, but not Mora and Älvdalen.
No. And we have a comment from Max Nygren. Hello, Bauer. It was really fun on Sporting.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
At a fly tying event, sort of.
Yeah, we had a big fly fishing show there together with a lot of different brands, and there were like 30 fly tyers. So it was a really good evening, or a really good day. A lot of people came, and
Cool.
So we had a chat. I actually got a fly from him.
Okay.
So he wanted me to test, so it's going to go,
he
go
says
in the
that.
water.
Hope you can catch a fish on the fly.
Yeah. I'm going to try it, so don't worry about it. I saw some comments about Denmark, the fly fair in Denmark next weekend. I'm going to be there together with Stefan Jensen and Ante Guttorm and some great guys. So yeah, I'm going to be there tying flies.
Nice.
So yeah.
Let's go back to the sport fishing fair and the finale at Harris. There are tickets available now in the up right corner. If you check the info, the cards that can go down there. And tickets are 450 crowns, and that includes entrance to the finale and the burger and the beer, I think. And it's going to be a really cool, epic time.
It's usually a really, really
those
good
finales
evening.
are usually really fun.
All the guys are drinking beer and stuff like that.
Yeah, and all the guys are there, you know. Pierre Truman, you guys, the Finnish guys, Svartsjönker.
They drink too much beer though.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. And it's a really fun event. And actually, this year we will be in Jönköping, as the fair is going to be there. And when we were going to pick which place to go to have the finale, we actually sent out our test person, the Stig, fishing. We sent him down to Jönköping and said like, go and try a few different places where we could have the finale. And then he came up with Harris, and he tried eating there, and he did a small video of that. So we're gonna now we have his video ready. So let's have a look at what it looks like when the Stig eats at Harris. Yeah, it looks good. Good. Nice looking entrance. And good music as well. Nice table there. I wonder what he's gonna have to drink. I don't know. What was that? Did you see? Maybe some wine. Oh, okay, not. I can see from here. I have the lights on the screen. Oh, that's a nice burger. Yeah, we'll see what he thinks. Yeah, it's approved.
So Harris it is. Harris it is.
So Harris it is, yeah. Seemed like a great place. Stig approved.
I think we were there the last time too.
Yeah, last time we were in Jönköping, we were there. But we were just checking if anything had changed, you know.
If there were any better places.
Yeah, exactly. But that was still the best place.
Okay.
So
cool.
Tickets available in the upright corner, and really looking forward to see all you guys there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And again, talking about the fair, we're gonna have, as always, we're gonna have a big Fly vs. Jerk limo that you guys are gonna go in. You know, after the finale has been shown, we always arrange with a limo that they can go with to Harris, and the limo is located in Stockholm, and it's gonna go down on Friday. So we thought that why not give away the places in the limo to you guys, so you can go down there in the cool limo instead of with a car.
Can it go on Wednesday when I'm going to go down instead?
No, unfortunately not.
Shit.
So Friday morning we have a limo going down, and we have eight rooms in that. And today we're gonna give away. What was it? I think it was
2 tickets.
2 tickets for 2 persons. So in total, four tickets. And we're gonna have one winner on Instagram and one on Facebook that can get the free ride down to Sportfiskemässan on Friday for him or her and a friend.
Cool.
And one winner on Facebook that wins a free ride for him and a friend or her.
That was 5 guys.
No, 2.
Just kidding.
And not only will they get the free ride, they will also get the free entrance to the sport fishing fair.
That's a nice ride, though.
Yeah, so now we can see what the limo looks like. It's really, really cool.
Oh, it's a Hummer.
It's a Hummer this year, yeah. We've upgraded.
It's going to be much more simple to get through the drive-through at McDonald's this year.
Yeah, first year it was too long.
Yeah, it was too long, yeah.
So yeah, really cool limo, and make sure to participate in this competition. And we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna, after this live show, we're gonna upload that image to Kanalgratis. Yeah, you can see the picture down in the right corner. We're gonna upload that on our Facebook and Instagram, and you guys will repost it, share or repost to your account, and tag the friend that you want to go with. And then we will pick the winners in the next live show on next Sunday. We'll pick a winner.
So you tag your friends, the ones you want to join?
Yeah, okay. Tag the friends you want to join with, and we'll pick a winner next.
That's a cool ride.
Yeah. And then next live we'll also give away 4 places. So 4 places this time and 4 places next time.
Yeah, it's 3 weeks to go.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Going fast.
Yeah, and it's... what's included is the ride down and the entrance to the fair, but then the limo will go back kind of soon, so you will probably need to go home by yourself, get a train or anything. That's your
hitchhike.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
It's at the E4, so it's quick to go back.
Yeah. Stockholm.
Just have a sign saying fly versus Zurich.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a car.
Yeah, I don't have a car. So don't miss that giveaway. It's going to be epic, and it's brought to us by Bel Air Limousine, our friends here in Stockholm. They have a really cool limo company. So they are the ones giving away this. So don't miss that.
Cool.
And now it's time for some live fly tying.
Okay.
And we've got quite a lot of comments if you can't tie some flies live. So now we're going to do that.
Yep.
And we're going to do it like a Thai TV.
Yep.
Step by step, everything explained, very detailed, how it's done. And now I will also keep an eye on the comments to see what you guys want to know.
Cool. So definitely.
Yeah. First of all, what fly are we going to use?
What we're going to tie?
I
thought we're going to tie an articulated fly that we're going to tie on a shank. So it's going to have a small 35mm shank.
A little bit further down, we can see it better.
There you go. So it's going to be like that. We're actually not going to tie that one. We're going to tie this one with a wave tail. So it's going to look like this. We're going to have a shank in the back. We're going to have a small fast attachment here. We're going to use some craft fur, the wire attachment, and then some flashaboo, some feathers. And then we're going to tie it on the new Vision Big Mama hooks. 4.0. They're made by Partridge, so it's a really good hook. But we made them in red, so they look a little bit cooler. Kind of a bleeding fish or something like that. So, and then we're going to end up with a head of this new material we call Predator dubbing. So that's basically what we're going to tie. We're going to tie it in olive and gold, so it's going to be close. So it's going to be more looking like this one, but with a wave tail. If you don't have the tail like that, or you don't want to have that type of tail on the fly, you can also skip that, and you can just make a flashable tail of normal flashable, and you can have a pretty good movement on that too. So you don't have to get the tails; you can use it in a different way too. We're not going to put a hook.
No, I was going to say that now we can see the fly in the tank behind us. That's the one.
This is the one, but we're going to do it in olive and on orange and.
But this is the movement that we'll get.
Yeah, what we create with the wave tail. Yeah. And also what we're doing is we're going to do a head that's pretty flat and pretty narrow. Yes. So it really makes that fly to kick, so it can go sideways.
Yeah.
So you get that pulling point straight in the center. So it really can go whatever.
Just like a glide bait. jerkbait.
Just like a glide bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you put a dragon tail or a wiggle tail on it, it's going to create that resistance in the back. So it's just going to kind of wobble and push a lot of water.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're going to do. It's going to be a few steps. So
how long do you think it will take to tie a fly like that?
I would say half an hour, 45 minutes. If
we're gonna
half an
explain
hour,
some.
yeah, 45 minutes is probably going to take.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different few techniques we're going to show. Hopefully, I'm not going to cut the thread off too many times, making me look like a stupid fly tyer. But we'll try. It's the first time live, so it's going to be fun to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So let's go to the business.
Yeah, sure.
First off, what vise are you using?
This is the Mark Petershaw Master Vise.
Yeah.
I really like it because you have tube on this side. So if you want to put a tube needle here, you just fold the vise on the other direction. You take this off and you put a tube needle, and then you have an awesome tube vise.
Yeah.
It's a fairly expensive vise, but if you look to some of the very expensive rods on the market today, it's still cheaper than a high-end rod. So I would say if you tie a lot of flies, it's definitely worth spending some money on a vise.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go this high. You can buy something that's more reasonable priced. But I think a very important thing when you're tying flies is that you have a vise that we call it true rotary, so you can actually kind of move the fly.
Yeah,
rotate it, because that's a key. That's one of those points that are a problem when you want to tie nice flies. Is that you want to be able to kind of look in all different directions.
Otherwise, you would have to like.
Well, if you have a very simple vise, you need to take the hook out and kind of turn it around, and it's not going to be that simple to tie. No. So, and you can get that function in actually pretty simple.
Doesn't have to be this really exclusive.
No, definitely. You can do, like in Sweden, like 500 kroner or $50 or something like that, and you get really good, or 50 euros or $50 or 500 kroner. It's basically the same amount.
Yeah.
But you can get really nice vices for that. But keep them through rotary, because it's a good function. And for pike hooks, even the cheaper vices, the hooks are fairly big, so they usually are pretty good in the vise. They stick pretty good.
Okay.
So, but we're not.
We also got some comments if you can show them how to tie the connection to the dragon tails, to the snap.
We can do that after. I mean, it's just like we do the wiggle tail.
Yeah.
But of course, you can find it in Thai TV how to attach them. But we can do that. It takes 30 seconds. So it's not going to be a problem.
We can do that when we have tied the fly. We'll show that as well.
Yeah, no problem. But we're not going to tie the first part on a hook.
So that thanks for the comment, Perch Hunter.
So we're not going to tie the first part on a hook. We're going to tie it on a shank, and this is articulated shank from fish skulls. You have them from partridge, or you have them from fish skulls. I just had to have this one with me. It's actually a shank with no hook, so it looks like. Let's actually have one in the vise here so you can see it. But it has a loop in the front, so you can connect it. I can show it like this. So it has a loop there, and it's open in the back here. And this is so you can kind of add another shank, or if you want to add a hook or something like that. So here, if you want to put a hook in the tail, you just slide a hook into this shank, like you have here. You slide it in, and then you're good to go if you want a hook here. But we're not going to do that. We're going to slide a fast attachment. And this is, I hope we can get the control room to see this. So this is the fast attachment. It's a size 0. And we're just going to snap that into the shank like this.
Yep.
And this is so we can kind of change different tails here in a really simple way.
Okay.
So you can change from a wave tail, or you can
Hold
change
it down
from
a bit.
So you can do it like this.
Yeah.
So you can change whatever tails you want on it.
So you can change from wave tail to dragon tail to wheel tail. Or no tail, yeah.
Of course, whatever you want to do. You could actually even incorporate another level of shank here. Because if you don't have any hook here, this lock is going to be definitely strong enough.
Yeah.
But if you put a hook here,
it won't hold
I wouldn't do that. Of course, you can put a little bit bigger snap on it, and then you could actually put a hook there. So yeah, of course.
That's one
a good idea.
New way
you have some good ideas, man.
Yeah, sometimes yes.
You have created some good ideas for us. So,
yeah.
So I put it in the vise. We have the fast attachment here, so it's ready to go. We should use some super glue because we want to have a strong and durable fly. So we put it where this is opened. I'm using a power thread. This is 100 denier, It's the thread I use most, or actually that's the only thread I use today on pike flies. It's made from Dyneema fibers, so it's really strong, and you can pull a lot of them. You know. So we just attach that to the shank, so we kind of close that gap that were opened. So we lock it. So this little part here, we tie that together. Actually, it should be there somewhere. We tied this little part together here, so we kind of closed the whole articulated shank here.
Okay.
And then,
which size was it on the fast edge?
That's a size 0.
Size 0. Okay.
And the length of this one is 35 millimeter, so you can go
the length of the shank.
The length of the shank. If you don't have a shank, you can just take a hook and kind of cut it off, and then put a wire attachment and put the attachment in there. But these are a really good thing to use because that you can make really cool. We can make really long articulated flies, like an eel pattern or something like that. So there are some cool stuff you can do with it. So it's a good thing to have at home. So we're going to tie that in. So now this is secured, it's glued, and it's closed. So now we're going to kind of tie it in this color combination. So it's going to look like a perch or a red-headed perch.
Great all-around color.
Yeah, it works really
good. Works everywhere.
And also when the pike has spawned and the perch comes into the same cove to spawn.
Like in May, June.
Yeah, May, June.
Yeah.
They really like perch to feed on them, So and of course they're an easy prey. So, but also in waters that are a little bit more clear. This is actually a little bit more dull pattern. It's not so bright, So and to get that tail looking pretty good, so we're gonna make some. We're gonna put some chenille here. This is a fairly new material called polar reflector flash. It's chenille, a long fibered chenille that is braided, and you have these little bit longer fibers sticking out. So we're going to tie that in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like that. We're going to tie this with these fibers pointing towards the floor. So we tie it in here.
The fibers are going in one direction.
Yeah, they kind of lean to one direction like that. It's not a big thing, but I like to put them like that because it makes it more simple to wrap.
Yeah.
So and then you go like 4 or 5 millimeters, or actually half a centimeters with the thread here. So that's the base what we're going to wrap with this, and then we just wrap it slowly around like this, and we fold the material backwards the whole time. And this is to get that volume out, and also not to have all these fibers just becoming a bunch like that. We want those to be spread nice and even. So I usually like to go 1 or 2 turns after where this is closed, so you don't get that bulky feeling to it where you want to tie it off. You saw it was closed here.
Yeah.
So you want to come out to the actual shank because it's much more simple to tie it off there. So then you just go with the thread behind the chenille, and you kind of tie it, you lock it once more, and then you tie it over. So we have a nice secured.
So you went around with the thread.
Yeah. So you go with the thread behind the material, and then you just lock it like that, and then you make a few turns. So you make that small little head, looking nice and neat there.
Okay.
Always good to put a drop of super glue on there, because then you're gonna have a nice firm place for the second material we're going to put on there.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people are usually asking how many pike can you catch on a fly? How is the durability? And if you tie them really well and you glue on those points where they should be glue, like this fly here, this was one of the flies we fished in Fly vs. Jerk.
So that's a used one?
This is used.
Doesn't look like that.
Well, if you look a little bit closer, you can see that the epoxy from the ice is actually gone. Some of the material is of course broken.
A bit further down.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Or put it like this. So it's really well used. I think we're still on the same dragon, the first dragon tail.
Yeah.
But this one has probably at least 50 fish on it during the Fly vs. Jerk and even after, So
yeah.
So if you tie them the right way, and this will definitely have at least 50 fish more on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's.
No. So it's a little bit worse with that green and gold we're going to give away, because that had a rough time.
Really rough
and some
time.
logs and stuff like that too. So
there we go. Yeah.
And then
well chewed.
And then the second material we're going to put on here, we're going to have that. We're going to put some craft fur on here. This is so we get a nice kind of transit from the wave tail into the fly here. So we just want to have that craft fur kind of lying around that material.
Nice.
So this is synthetic fibers. It's made on a carpet like that. There's a lot of copies on this on the market. Of course, they are much cheaper, but usually, if you buy the good stuff, the original stuff, you really get a lot of money for value, because most of these fibers you can actually use. If you buy these little bit cheaper ones, a lot of the fibers are broken and the materials are slightly too short for pike flies, in my opinion at least. So
these are long and good quality.
They're long and good quality, and you can use most of the fibers. Usually, most of the cheaper ones, they have too much of this short underwool, and that's kind of a...
You don't want that in the pike flies?
No, I don't want it at least.
No.
It's all about... It depends on how you tie your flies. But I don't want it in any case. So you kind of go with your scissor like this, and you just lift some of these fibers up, or you can use a comb. Just trying to do this as much in front of the camera as possible. And then you kind of lay it on the table, and then you want to press that scissor against the carpet. So you...
As close to the base as possible?
Yeah. Yep. So you get as long fibers as possible.
Yeah.
So now we got them like this.
We have a question from perch hunters. If you can use bucktail instead of craft fur.
Well, definitely. You can use whatever material you want here.
Yeah.
What I like with the craft fur is that if we zoom into the fly here.
I don't think so.
But we can see it later. It really swims well.
Yeah.
If I tie this exact fly, but I use a flashable tail on it like this, I actually put bucktail there.
Okay.
Because that lifts that flashable
Gets more
up
volume.
So, yeah, so it supports it a little bit,
Yeah.
So.
And now we can see it in the
Okay,
tank.
so I like that. How it works and how it incorporates into the wave tail. I like those small fibers.
It's not a fly and a wave tail behind. It's a fly with a wave tail built in.
It looks like it's incorporated into the fly.
Yeah,
so,
really.
So I like that type of way. So, but of course you can use whatever material.
Especially if you match the colors like that.
Or also, I don't think this is the best place to have a trigger point. I mean, the trigger point should be closer to
the
because
head.
we don't have any hook here. But if you put a hook here, then you can definitely incorporate a nice
another
trigger point.
color.
Or an orange trigger point or something like that. This one actually has that, but and also the tail actually has a trigger point. So it's kind of a stupid place to have a trigger point.
But it's still quite small flies, so they're probably going to inhale.
Yeah, the big one is going to inhale them completely. So, and then when we go back to this.
And while Matilda catches up with the camera, we have some more comments here. Lars Wahlmark, Skäggbiffen, says that you have an awesome tattoo on your underarms.
Which one's
really
this
cool.
one or this one?
Both of them are really cool.
It's, thanks to Matte at House of Pain.
Yeah, Matthias Henriks. Matte Pain, yeah.
Matte Pain, yeah. He's
awesome guy.
He's a really good guy who had a really tough time with, but he lost a lot of weight and stuff like that, so he's really recovering and doing a well job. So he's a cool guy to get a tattoo from.
Yeah.
And a really keen pike fisherman.
Yeah.
So
we have a comment here. If you have to choose between going on a date with your dream girl or fish for pike with Niklaus, which lake would you pick first? No doubt about that. What he would pick.
Okay. That was a cool one.
More comments here. Mikael Jensen. He's just tying a special fly right now. Everything open, I guess, for fly tying. Some flies are just a whole lot better to cast and jerk with. Yeah, okay. Yeah. About the new wave tail, is it the same material as the wiggle tails and dragon tails? Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same material. It's just a different shape. So.
Yeah, that was a comment from Jani Rosnell.
Okay. Cool. Now, actually, I went ahead of time here because I'm so used to tying these flies. But so I took all the material out. So I'm just going to show you once again here.
Okay, so let's go back to the tying.
Yeah, I'm just going to show you quickly how it's done. We take that bunch. You can take questions during the tying, it's no problem. So now we have this bunch here. It's not going to be the right amount. I already prepared that like a cooking program. But you have all this short fibers, like underwool. So we just take a comb and you kind of just run that through here. And you get all these short fibers here. And then you have all the long fibers that we usually get in a normal, like a natural material. In Swedish we call it stickelhår, but those are the longer fibers, and these are the ones we actually want to use. We don't want to have this short fibers underneath because
They don't add any movement.
No, and it's just going to make it really, really bulky and slow moving. So we want to have a fly
hard to
that
cast.
really, hard to cast. You're going to add weight, and it's not going to swim nice. So
Okay.
So this is the tricky part with filming fly tying and also having courses. We have a really great word. It's called lagom in Sweden. It's just the right amount.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, whatever you do here, don't take too much. Because if you take too much, the fly is just going to be dull, hard to cast, expensive to tie because you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to use a lot of material you're not supposed to do. So less is more, guys. Really, less is more. So a lot of guys I meet out on tying courses or fishing like that, they go, "Oh, so your flies are actually that small?" It's hard to get that preference when you're watching YouTube.
Yeah, it's hard to say that how much material is this. Well, we don't have any.
Well, I'm not going to count them. So
No.
if you want,
Sure. I feel I can do it after the live show.
yeah, okay. So basically, just the right amount. Less is more, guys. We can actually cut this off a little bit because the ends are a little bit too long. But then we're going to spread this evenly around the shank. So what you want to do is you want to create that material going all around that shank. You make one turn, trying to grab all the material coming around the hook like that. And then you make one more easy turn with no tension to the thread. And then you can kind of wrap it tight. And then we can wrap it all the way forward. And hopefully now, this material has gone all around the hook. Of course, this is a live show, so probably it's not gonna go. It hasn't done that. You can actually see that we actually missed a spot here, right here, and I don't want it like that. So we're just gonna add a little bit of material on that.
And why do you do that? I have a comment here from. It almost looks like Bruce Willis, but I think it's Bruce Willis. I see a lot of small flies used lately. Is that a seasonal thing at the moment, or do you like the smaller articulated flies more right now instead of the big long tube flies that you?
Well, before we had the wiggle tails and all these type of tails, we had to create that big appearance in the water. In that time, we had to get the flies bigger to push more water.
To get the same,
to get the same
water,
type of fly.
Pushing.
But now, when I really enjoy to fish tails on them because it really helps me catch a lot of fish. A lot of people think with the wiggle tails or dragon tails, it's a lot about how they look and stuff like that. But I would say the most important thing with this is that's the vibration and the sound they create underwater.
Yeah.
So it creates tension on the water that really makes the fish hear it.
Yeah.
With their lateral lines and stuff like that. So
they feel something moving and swimming.
Just like all these soft rubber baits, like you sell, and a lot of other shops sell all these pig shads and whatever they're called. They create a lot of movement and sound on the water.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what these tails are doing. So yes, to answer yes, the flies are becoming slightly smaller.
You can add a tail on.
So you can add a tail, and then they're actually sometimes bigger than the previous tubes. I still fish a lot of tubes, definitely at springtime, because then you want to have that fly really suspending. And when you stop the fly, you don't want it to sink down or tip down with the head first, or kind of lose the tail or something like that. You want to have that fly. When you stop it, it should just stand there with all the fibers like this. And that's really the thing. When you go into shallow water, it's the same thing. You want to have that fly not to drop down or something like that. But then certain times you want to have that fly that just goes like a crazy jerkbait or just sinks down or something. So it's just, I used to fish a lot of pike with spinning gear before. And I mean, I fished shads 25 years ago. Yeah. So I mean, big rubber baits, wobblers, jerkbaits. It's just the spinner baits. It's the same thing here with fly fishing. You don't want to have just one type of pike flies. No. You want to have all different type of pike flies that you can use in different circumstances.
Yeah, situations and waters.
And there's no, this is the right fly today, and this is the right fly for this temperature. Usually, the colder the water is, the brighter the fly, and usually slightly smaller. When the water is really, really cold, sometimes a small, really bright fly can be a trigger point. But there's no right or wrong.
Oh.
I mean, I've tied flies, fished with friends. They, oh, that was a cool fly. Can I try it? Of course you can try it, but it's not going to work. Boom, and then they catch a big fish. So, well.
I think the more skilled angler, the more he or she realizes that you don't know everything.
No.
Sometimes you talk to people that think they have figured it out, everything.
Yeah.
That I know exactly how to do it, what color works best. And then if you could talk to like you and Truman and this, that really have fished a lot for many years and caught many big fish, you can really hear that you have this, that I don't have everything figured out.
No. And sometimes it is like you come to a place, for example, Truman and these guys in Fly vs. Jerk, the last episode, the water is just like when they're in the car. It's the circumstances are perfect. You know, it's cloudy, it's not that windy, but it's in October. It's really good, and they're not really finding the fish. I mean, they're not really biting. The same with the Finnish guys. They're fishing in the archipelago. They're fishing against the weed belts in October. You know, should be a massive amount of pike there. And they're not just feeding. So it's hard to get everything figured out. Yeah. And I would say that's the cool thing, and that's what I really love about fishing and fly fishing in general. You will never learn anything.
No.
Everything. I mean, every time you go fishing with somebody that you haven't fished with before, you're going to learn something new.
Yeah, get new ideas.
Yeah. So I just love to fish with people, definitely from different countries.
Yeah.
Because
it's a lot of culture involved in
so
fishing.
Much culture, and it's so kind of, this is the right way.
Yeah.
I like to kind of learn things, get inspired by people, and that's the way how you learn new things. And there's no rights and there's no wrongs. You can always try. And you figure it out.
Take the best parts from each. Sure.
I mean, I look a lot on those spin fishing guys. Yeah. Because they are kind of really pushing the evolution forward. Yeah. So we just have to copy what they do.
Now lately, I think they're looking at you as well.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But we have. I think that the best way is to get inspired by each other. Yeah. I mean, that's how it's done, in my opinion. So.
Cool. Yep. And the comments are dropping in here. We'll see.
So there's actually one guy watching that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead here when you're reading comments. So now we did this polar reflector flash in yellow. You can read. I can explain from the camera.
Yeah, we have a question about the tank behind, how you have made it, but that's actually a product that you sell.
Yeah, we sell it. It's an American company called Flyman Fishing Company, and it's made for it's a fly tester, so you can buy it. Yeah. They're not that cheap.
No, but it's around, what is it?
In Sweden, they retail around in euros around 400 euros.
Okay.
But it's a quite advanced system to be able to get few flies moving into it, and you want to have that round bend so you get that circulation into the tank. You know, so, but it's basically a pump that you use in an aquarium with some different I don't know what you call those. Different ways so you can get the water coming out here in different angles. Yeah. So then you can actually have one fly here. This part is a little bit too tough for pike flies because the stream is so powerful. But when it comes over here, you can kind of test it. So, well, if you look to it, if you're going to tie a lot of flies that you don't have the time to test, this can actually be pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's a fun way to do it.
And it's really a good way. So, Flyman Fishing Company, they are the manufacturer of it. So, depending on where you live, who sells those stuff, that's where you can buy it. Yeah. So this is going to be a perchy. So we're going to go from yellow. We're going to go into a little bit more olive pattern. So once again, we're going to tie this polar reflector flash. Now I'm going to use the olive color here. I tie it in. And then we're going to go almost all the way to the end of this shank. We're going to put some super glue over here. So we have that fly tough and durable. And if you can, I mean, it's not a bad thing to wrap this in a little bit wet super glue. You just have to be a little bit careful so you don't put your fingers into it, because
then it gets sticky.
Then it gets sticky, and actually you can get all this super glue up in the fly. But otherwise, if you
kill the movement, then let's glue the fibers together. Now, I also want to remind you guys about the Limo giveaway that we're going to have after this live show. The free ride down to Jönköping from Stockholm, or somewhere between it, for you and a friend. We're going to upload that picture after the live show on Instagram and Facebook. And you can see the picture down here in the right corner. Now back to the fly tying.
So if they live along that road,
somewhere between Stockholm and Jönköping.
Okay. So
So what you have then? You have Stockholm, and then below
Nyköping,
Nyköping, all that, yeah.
Linköping, Motala, and all those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I've done now, I've wrapped this olive body material here all the way to the end of the shank. I just left like 1 millimeter here or 2 millimeters, so I can have a craft fur head here. And then when I want to tie it off, I go with the material behind this, and I go over to lock it, and I do one more, make a few turns, and then secure it once more. And then you have the material is
Secured, yeah.
Well, it's secured, and it's going to be really, really durable. Kind of fold those fibers back.
We have a comment here from Pierre from Montreal. Good, nice to have you watching. It's 5:30 a.m. here. So he says that he's a very bad student. He should be studying or sleeping or something. Where can we buy the tails that you attach to the back on the fly? And I think it means the wave tails, maybe?
Yeah, the wave tails are not really on the market yet in Scandinavia.
No?
They're going to be launched in March.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of like a pre-launch on the sport fishing fair. And then Jonathan, Mr. Backlure, he's going to paint them up. But Canada and US is a problem. I mean, you ship the Kanalgratis web shop, they ship worldwide. So if you live in the States and then if you live in Canada, that's probably the best way to get them. We don't have anybody selling them in the States at the moment. So
as soon as they hit the market, they will be in the Kanalgratis web shop, and you will be able to buy them from the States and Canada and all over the world.
Yeah, and also you have some other shops in Scandinavia and also Paulo's webpage, the manufacturer. You can also buy them from there. So there are different ways you can get them. So
Yeah.
just go online and you will probably find them.
Yeah, and right now we have the dragon tails and the wheel tails in stock. These other tails available for purchase in the Kanalgratis web shop, shipping worldwide. So you can check them out if you like.
But it's a cool thing because they really make a difference. Really, some days I think it's
the wave
really,
tails.
Yeah, or I would say tails in general. On
Yeah.
flies. I mean that they create something completely new. So I like it. And you can actually get a really dull pattern, but still they can really hear it. So.
Yeah.
So
I remember the first time we tried them or filmed them. When we filmed
I
that.
had a decent fish.
Yeah. Well, let's see if Matilda can prepare a picture from that. It's on my Instagram page. I uploaded it just before the live show. We went out to film a short video about the wiggle tails, how to use them and stuff. And we thought that, maybe we can catch a fish as well and make a Fly TV episode.
Yeah.
And first fish, what was it? 109 centimeters and
I think something
9
like that.
kilos.
Yeah.
Second fish, 5 minutes after, was 14 kilos, 113 centimeters. Was it right?
I think you should tell the story when day 2.
When we're supposed to film again, and I forget the camera at home. we can skip that.
No, I think I can explain that because that's actually pretty funny. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
So he forgets
First of all, now we can see the 14 kilo pike that he caught filming wiggle tails for the first time. So it was pike approved right away.
Yeah, and we were supposed to do some underwater filming the day 2.
Yeah.
And Pontus comes to the dock and he goes, "Did you bring the camera bag?" And he goes, "It's not in the boat." No. And he calls his girlfriend. It's in this flat.
And I lived in Västerås back then, and we were filming in the Stockholm archipelago.
Yeah.
And this was early. This was like 8-9 o'clock in the morning, a regular day. So I had to go back to Västerås, 1.5 hour car in really shitty traffic to get the camera and drive back. And I was kind of stressed because didn't feel good to have to spend 3 hours in the car, so I drove pretty fast. And just when I grabbed my camera and went back to Stockholm, you see those blue lights behind me. A civilian police car. So I almost lost my driver's license then. But we ended up with a pretty cool episode.
Yeah.
After all, so.
Yep. Just cost a little bit more than
it
you
was
planned
worth
for.
it. Yeah.
So back to the fly here.
Yep.
It's yellow. We got the olive body material on. So now I just prepared a bunch of olive craft fur again here. Oh, sorry, that's where I should have it. So we're gonna tie that the same way.
Wave tail.
Yeah, the same. Stop talking.
Yeah, that was just to wait for the camera. Now we have the close-up camera back. So now we can go.
So we're gonna use the olive one here. We're gonna tie it the same way like we did with the yellow. So kind of hold it with your left hand. Try to get it spread all around the shank, and then you make a very loose turn with the thread like that. kind of tighten it, and then hopefully we got that all material all around the fly. Ooh, I was lucky there.
Nice. So that was all of the craft fur.
Yeah, this is all of craft fur, and then you can see how it blends nice together,
Yeah, exactly.
and you get this body material. It just glimmers in the water like that, so it looks really nice.
Nice.
So we make a few turns here. We're gonna cut this off as close as possible here, without cutting the thread off. That's always the tricky point. Not really, but if we're doing things live, it can definitely be that.
We have a comment from, I lost it, Patrick Hammar. He just wanted to say thank you, Niklaus Bauer, for being such an inspiration. You're awesome.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really love all those comments you post on our videos and live and on Instagram, and it's really warming to get all those positive feedback.
But that's actually why we do it too, because we really love what we do, and I think that's why things are being good too, because we really love it. It's not a job; it's kind of a lifestyle for us.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's one of the reason we can do it.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be able to do it if none of you guys were watching. So your watching really means a lot, and we do everything for you.
Thanks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to end this. I just took some of the fibers. I went a little bit too close here, and then I want to make this head. I don't want it to be yellow or white. I want to have a trigger point of orange here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the thread with a marker. This is a fluorescent marker. So I'm going to color the thread around like 10 centimeters, closest to the fly. And then we're going to wrap this, creating this orange head here. We're just going to make a whip finish here, so I can just, These markers you can buy in your fly tying shops, or you can buy them probably in some of these shops where you can buy markers for painting and stuff like this. But they need to be waterproof and they need to be fluorescent. In this case, in any case. We're going to use a whip finish here, so we're just going to make a knot. Simple one like that. Cut the thread. And then we're going to put some super glue here.
We have a comment here from Nicholas Julian saying that Niklaus was probably a hairdresser in his in another life.
Maybe I would be a pretty. It could be a pretty good one. I never tried it.
If you get tired of fly tying and fishing and all that, you can get a professional hairdresser.
So we made that orange now, and if I take this UV light, maybe we're gonna go in overexposure here, but at least you can see how it glows. I don't know if the control room can get this. But it really makes a trigger point in between those. Yeah,
it's kind of hard to get it on the camera in far away, but you can see IRL. You can really see it glowing like crazy.
It's really a trigger point.
Like crazy.
So that's what we want. And then we're going to.
We have some comments from the control room. If we like it from this side, if you stand behind with your white T-shirt, now we can probably see it better. I think. Really cool with UV.
So then we're going to attach these guys. So we're going to put, we can take this off from the vise here. So now it's kind of, try to get it out too. So now with the tail is done here. We have this yellow tail. We got a little bit of olive down here. So it looks like a nice tail to it. The fast attach here is actually in this one, close here. I'm gonna take this tail off here.
A few more comments. Nicky Place says hello guys, and he wonders if we guys are from Sweden. And yes, we are. Both of us are Swedish. And the whole Kanalgratis is a Swedish channel, but we film a lot of shows abroad, out in Europe and the States and all over the world. And we do everything in English because we really like all you non-Swedish guys also. We like our Swedish guys too, but we really want to reach out to as many people as possible. So we're from Sweden, but we're going in English.
So what I've done now, I connected the wave tail here. So the back fly is done. See if we can show this in a good way. So now we can do in different tails here, but this last part is done. So we're going to put that on the table. And then we're gonna use the hook that we're actually gonna tie the front part This is
What hook is that?
it's the Big Mama hook. It's made by Partridge, but it's actually the heavier wire of the Universal Predator.
Okay.
So it has a nice keel to the fly, so it really makes that
go
nice balance.
stable.
Yeah, if you use too light wire, it can actually have a fly that gets very unbalanced,
Yeah.
and it's not really what I want. I want to have a fly that has a good balance. I want to have a tail that kicks, and that's really the same side-to-side movement, you know. So.
Yeah. And you get that kind of jigging effect when
Yeah.
you go with these articulated hook flies. Yeah.
Definitely. You can get whatever movement. You can actually kick the tip of the fly a little bit. And you can get that fly to really skid.
Yeah. Cool. We have a comment from Nemo. What's the best craft fur, and where can we buy it?
Well,
If we ask you.
well, the best craft fur is the original craft fur from Rainy's from Thailand. A lot of companies are selling that worldwide, but otherwise, I think Hairline are supplying a good craft fur that is reasonable in price and also reasonable in quality. But the best stuff is from Rainy's in Thailand, and a lot of shops are still supplying them.
So most good fly tying shops.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So then we put some glue here on the hook. I like to glue the thread to the hook base because I don't want to have a fly that when you kind of raise the bucktail and stuff like that, it's going to just go around the hook. So always glue the thread because it's non-waxed. So it's nice to have that good grip to it. Then we're going to move the thread all the way back, not behind the barb. So we should stop it in this direction. If you go behind and you go with thread wraps down into the loop here, we're actually going to have that the other fly going to go in an angle like that. So it's very important to get it straight. So
to the point where the
barb is, you know.
Yeah.
So if you hold it like this, no thread wraps beyond this point.
If you move away, the white thread kind of disappears too. So now we can see it gives a black background how it looks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good.
So no thread wraps behind that, and then we're gonna use a wire to attach these two. This is the Partridge Pike Take or Bauer Pike wire. This is 40 pound. It's 49 strand, so it has actually 49 small metal wires. And the good thing, the more strands it has, actually the less kink it will get. So this is a plastic coated one. I don't like titanium and stuff like this when you attach the flies together because it can actually break. So I want to have a plastic coated one and fairly thick. 40 pound, 45 pound is good, you know. So
great.
So that's what we have here. We need some beads for this to be able to connect these. Put this on your table here for a second.
Yeah, great.
So then what we do is we take this back part here. We slip the wire through here.
Go a little bit further down.
Oh, sorry.
You can see it better.
I think now we got it.
Yeah, now we got it.
So we slip that wire through there.
That's right. You probably said it, but how long is that wire?
Well, this is a little bit too long. I just wanted to have a little bit good handling because
It's better to take a bit more than.
Yeah, of course it's gonna cost you a little bit more, but when we're doing it I want to have it. It should be. Well, we're gonna use it. This is the length we're gonna use. So this is probably 15 centimeters, but you could easily have used 10.
A little further down.
This is probably 15 centimeters, but you could definitely have used 10. But it's not an expensive product, so it's not a problem. We put that on the table. Then we want to use some articulated beads. I want to have a trigger point here, so I'm going to go for one of those beads that are fluorescent, and then I'm going to use something that's just going to match the fly. So I'm just going to go with a green. If you have that there.
So can we show with the light again? That is fluorescent.
I think I can see this. You can see those. Now you can see the one that is fluorescent. It's really glowing.
The other one stays like this.
Yeah. So that's what I want to have as a trigger point.
Cool.
So I push that. Take those two.
So you push the both ends
together.
Yeah.
So as close as possible like that. See if we can get that there on film. And then you slide this bead over, all the way down. Didn't want to go all the way down, but and then we take the green one, or whatever color you want. I mean, I like just to use one of those that are matching, and one is that good trigger point. So we're gonna have them onto the wire like that. When you have a hook here, and it actually has some possibility to tangle, the distance between this loop here and the beads are pretty important. You can see that in some of the Thai TV episodes. But when we don't have a hook here, it doesn't really, you don't have too much things that can tangle.
Oh.
So I can actually stretch this a little bit further back than I would if I would have had a hook on there.
Okay.
So you tie that on top of it, and then you kind of determine what the distance should be from this one to this one. Of course, you don't want to have it.
Okay, so now we can adjust it like.
Yeah, I made a 10 thread wraps here, so I can move it like this.
Adjust the length of it.
Yeah. So that's what I want. I put it on top of it and flat, side by side, and then.
If we can turn the vise, maybe we can see it
like
on
that.
YouTube. I hope you can see that.
So what's important with this is that you want to have this bulky head. I don't know if you can see it. This bulky head here should push the water around it, and then it should actually hit this second part here.
Okay.
That's what's going to create this tail to kick.
Yeah.
If this tail would be much closer in here, it wouldn't kick as well. So this distance from here to this distance here is a little bit crucial, because if you get this really the right, it's going to have a tail that kicks really well. If this one is too much further up, it's not going to kick as well, So you want to have that water turbulence go around it and hit the second part of the fly, That's when you're going to create that best movement.
Cool.
So.
Okay, we have a bunch of comments here.
Sure.
First of all, perch hunters wonder if you're coming to Holland and smart lures again this year.
Yep. Yeah, somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah, definitely. We are. We have had some. We had some tying courses with Mark down there. It's a really good shop in Holland.
Mark Sitvast, smartlures.nl. Yeah.
Yes, really a nice shop, and that's like a wet pike fisherman's dream, With
they have a lot of fly tying and pike fly fishing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that shop is really cool. So yeah, we haven't made some tying courses there, and we're definitely gonna do some more stuff. We haven't planned it yet, but we'll let you know when we go there. So.
People are asking for a fly box, including all the materials for a certain fly that we show on video to have in the shop, and we have that. We have the how to tie a pike fly or a beginner's guide to pike fly fishing. But those kits are out of stock everywhere, I think. Okay. We should make a new video like that.
Yeah, we talked about that too. So it's
something fun like this, a bit more advanced. That was kind of a beginner's
kit.
guide. Yeah.
So we can shoot out the material list onto the social medias a little bit later today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you can see what the materials that are in this fly, so you can kind of go and buy them. Definitely that could be. We talked about that. We also talked about doing more fly tying live, so we can kind of shoot out to you a few weeks ahead of this is what we're going to tie and this is the material list, and then you can have a beer,
tag along, and
Sunday evening and tie flies with us. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an exciting year. What I've done here now, I've determined the distance here. I want to have that green bead hitting the hook bend here. I have a distance that is around 1 centimeter. This is going to make this tail kick really well. If I would have had a hook here, I would have gone slightly shorter. Also, if you want to have a hook there, you want to make sure that this wire is really, really secure onto this hook. I usually fold those ends backwards like this and tie over on both sides. So we can kind of, if you do it like this, you tie them over. But now the only pressure we're actually going to put on this one is the tail and this one. So we don't need to tie this very.
It's not going to be pike grabbing here.
No, and even it's not going to be hooked, No. So this is going to be strong enough. So we don't have to fold those. We can just cut those off.
Yeah.
Don't use your favorite scissor for that. Then the shops are going to be very happy because you're going to go and buy a new one. So buy a small cutter for that.
Wire cutter.
Yeah. And also usually when you go with the thread over these, where you cut them, they can be a little bit sharp. So it's not that uncommon that those ends really cut the thread. So when you go
How do you solve that?
Well, I usually go very light on the thread here before I don't put the same tension to the thread, because If you put the tension to it, then sometimes, definitely with titanium, it's going to snap right off. So very light.
Two loose wraps and then
so
like
kind of
push it down.
kind of cover them, and then you can put a little bit more pressure onto them.
Okay.
So we wrap that all the way. We go all the way to the end here, and then we just put some super glue on this. So we have that strong, durable fly. And with this Dyneema thread, the glue really goes into the fibers and kind of makes it a cement. It just locks everything together, so it's really strong. I think this would actually hold even a hook and a pike. But
probably, but
I don't want to take the chance. You know, so
we have a comment here in between from Nicey Matt, very nice comment. I just wanted Niklaus to know that he and the Kanalgratis team is the reason I fly fish for pike since 3 seasons now. And the 2 patterns have really delivered. Keep up the great work.
Thanks a
really,
lot.
Really fun to hear that.
I love that, and that's really the joy of this, to get those comments and really to know that you guys are getting inspired by what we do.
That's the best feedback you can get.
We love it, and it's really cool to hear that you love it too. You know, so it's really the best feeling when you can have that big pike, eat that fly, and you bend it up, and that's something everybody should try, because it's a completely different feeling than on a spinning gear. I mean, when you get that strike, you know, you had some nice pike on fly too, and you didn't fly fish for pike then. It was like 2 years ago.
It's 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago. But of course, you had a very good start. You had like a 2 7-kilo fish the first.
Yeah, my first 2 fish, first 10 minutes, I caught 198 centimeter pike and 105 centimeter pike.
Then he wasn't allowed to fish anymore.
No. That was during a Fly TV episode, or no, Fly TV Squeeze episode. We did a short video of that.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
We're not running out of time because we have quite a fly here still.
Yeah, we don't have any certain time that we need to quit.
Good.
So
no, then we can talk bullshit all day. So.
Yeah.
So now we made the tail. We're going to go over to the rest of the fly here. So what we're going to do, we're going to body wrap some chenille again.
A bit further down.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Yep.
That's normal.
There we go.
We're gonna body wrap some chenille in olive, and then we're going to put some craft for here to get that nice length to it. We're going to body wrap some trigger point material. We're going to make a body, a bucktail collar that we're going to tie Bob Popovich style, you know, hollow tie it. So we get tie it forward and reverse it. We're going to dress that with some flashable. We're going to incorporate a few feathers, and then we're gonna make the head. So we got a few things to go here, but it's very simple tying, so it's not a hard time to do. So first we go over to that olive polar reflector again here. We tie it in with the ends kind of facing the floor. So we tie it in. If you have a hard time getting material onto the hook like that, you kind of put the material here and then you go forward with the thread, and the material is always going, you know, it just follows the thread the whole time. A good tip is to go, I'm just going to show this for you can go behind with the material like that, and then the thread is actually holding the material down.
Okay.
It's a good friend of mine, Johan Klingberg, who showed me this a long time ago. So then you can just wrap it straight on. So if you have a hard problem to tying things in, feathers like that, you can always push it under the thread, and it's really, really simple. So, but now we're just going to tie this in, like that.
So now when it's attached, can you show how the fibers are turned? You know which way?
The fibers are actually
facing
facing
away from the hook.
Yeah, away from the hook and actually facing down on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the most simple way to explain it.
Cool.
And then we're gonna wrap this. Usually when I have this, I have it in the bag, and I just put the right end up. So then you hold the whole bag. It's very simple to have it in your hand, you know.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna make it a little bit more better looking on film here. So you kind of fold the material over here. You can actually go more forward with the thread. The only thing you have to remember is to go back with the thread. So we go a few turns forward here. I usually go this like a centimeter and a half, depending on what type of fly I want to do. But this is around a centimeter here. Go one more turn. So then we can go back with the thread if we want to, like that. And then we lock this in place. So go 1, 2, few turns, lock it again, and then it's good to cut off. If you have a hard time cutting the thread off, don't use the scissor under the hook. If you're always doing it on this side, on top of it, or on this side, it's much more hard to cut the thread. So if you want to cut something under the thread, under the hook, well, turn the hook.
Oh, I mean like that, yeah.
Yeah,
perfect.
because if you're under it like this, it's much more simple.
You don't see what you do.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And everybody's going to cut the thread that way, you know. So we fold that back, put that little drop of super glue on there. So we secure those thread wraps and the material. And then we're going to use some craft fur again here in my pile of fly tie material. So we just comb those fibers again. So we have a nice and straight place to cut them. Take that comb. If we can get it into picture here. You have to bear with us with the format here. This is the first time we do it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
And please, if you like this fly tying live thing, let us know. Drop a comment, and we will consider to do it again, maybe. And we can bring in Daniel Bergman, Stefan Jensen, and all the other fly dressing guys. You know, to tie different
see what
styles
happens.
of flies. Yeah. So if you like it, please let us know. And if you want any special patterns tied live.
Yep.
And then we can do, like you said, we can go out with the pattern beforehand and all the materials you need, so people can be ready with their own vise and like that. That's cool.
It's kind of a tie along with it.
live.
So we do with this. We have the craft fur. I'm going to show you that. We have all this nice long fibers here, and all the short ones here. So you take that comb again, and you get all those short fibers out like that. So you just got nice long fibers that are really lively in the water like that. Of course, you can use marabou and stuff like that here too. And it's not as durable. This is extremely strong. So whatever you do here, you're not going to break it. And it's really a good material for toothy critters, you know. So just make sure that those ends are nice and tight. And then we kind of push this material all around this hook again here. And when you do this light turn here with the thread, you want to be able to see that material coming all around the hook and facing me here. It's a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to tighten that up. So it really goes all around the hook like that. Then you get that nice appearance on the fly.
Cool. And yeah, we get a lot of comments now that they really love the Thai TV and this live format. So we should keep doing this.
Of course. Every Sunday evening, this is
every
what I'm
Sunday.
gonna-
Yeah. No, but maybe once per month or something. You know, once every second month.
We're definitely going to do it.
Something,
If you guys like it and it works well, we're going to do it. So.
Yep. We also have a comment here from Dominic from the States. He really loves the wiggle tails and says that they have a great movement in the water and are working great for muskie. That's cool.
Yeah, that would be cool to have on your bucket list, a big muskie.
Sounds like a good Fly TV episode.
Yeah, definitely.
We should plan something for
maybe we can get a
2018.
good invitation to come there somewhere sometime. So now we got the yellow, we got the tail here. We got the yellow as kind of the heart, or a little bit yellow that the perch are. We got the olive, we got a trigger point here. We also got that trigger point of that bead. You can probably see it if you do it like that. So you get that trigger point in between the flies. We made that turn, a few turns, 1 centimeter with polar reflector flash in olive. So now I want to do a trigger point of orange here, the same material. So we're just going to go for that end where we find the fibers, the right direction. We tie those in.
Just like the one I did before.
All the previous ones, you know, so it's no biggie at all.
No. Another question here, meanwhile, from Johan Lindqvist. What bobbin are you using, Niklaus?
This is actually the Tiemco, the new bobbins they have. Hi, Johan, by the way. Good tire from Finland. So,
I recognize the name from Instagram.
Yeah. So what I like with this is a heavy-duty bobbin from Tiemco. But what you can actually do is you can determine the length of the tube here.
Okay.
And that they are heavy-duty, so the ceramic tube here is a little bit tougher than the normal ones. But I think this is probably one of the best bobbins on the market so far. It's simple. I don't want to have a very bulky bobbin with all those adjustments and stuff like this. I just want to have a simple and tiny bobbin that fits well in your hand, you know.
So it gets the job done, good quality.
Yeah, that's basically what I need at least. Then all tires have different needs, you know. So, but I think less is more here too. I've been using these old Tiemco bobbins. I think I have one of those with the heavy-duty ceramic tube like this. This is you can still buy these, and I would say this is still probably one of the best bobbins you can buy, because they're so simple, and they're just so simple to have in your hand, and you can just break that thread. You know, you can put some tension to the thread when you want it, and they're simple, they're light, and they're simple to work with. So.
Maybe you can show. I know you showed that in the Fly TV episode or Thai TV episode before. But how do you get the thread into the bobbin if you use it?
Then
for the
you
first
can
time?
show it because then you know how it's.
I can try. Yeah, I filmed it a couple of years ago.
I can hold that for you, so I can cut it in a straight angle like that.
Okay.
So there you go.
So a good tip when time flies, when you want to attach this one into the bobbin, is that it's a very light thread and it's a very small hole. So it's kind of a mess to get it in. And now it's inside. So what I can do now is just suck it up like that. Boom.
Ooh, good job, man.
Yeah, that's a very cool tip that I like. If I would be tying flies, I would love that.
Yeah, that's the pro tip.
Yeah, that's a pro tip from Pontus. Yay.
And two good things to have when you're tying a lot of flies in general: a good bobbin and a good scissor, a sharp scissor. I mean, that's, in my opinion, those are the two things combined with the vise that you should actually put a lot of money into. And also remember that when you tie a lot of flies, when you cut this power thread, if you cut a lot of flashable, they will wear out because this material is really tough on the scissor. So buy a good scissor, whatever brand, doesn't really matter, but spend some money on it and change it. If you're tying a lot of fly, change it, you know.
Like every year, or
well, depends on how many flies and what.
If you're talking to you, how often do you need to
I would
change?
say these are fairly good Tiemco scissors, and I probably change these every year.
Okay, but you tie flies almost every day, every
well,
week
I try
at
to,
least,
yeah. So I have two scissors that I use. So I usually tie. When they're done, I shoot them out, or actually I put them into the box where I have all the tying courses. And
Okay.
they continue to live that way.
Ah, perfect.
But I'm pretty picky. I want to have them really, really sharp too.
So what happens if you don't have a sharp enough scissor?
Well, for the first thing, you can't cut the thread.
Okay.
Because the Dima fibers are so hard. It's just like Fireline or some braided super line. You can't cut them, you know.
So you need to like. Yeah.
Well, and you need to have a lot of attention to it, and just trying to get those small fibers off is just a pain in the ass. So a good scissor and a good bobbin is a good thing to have. So I just put the orange material on here, so we don't forget to tie the fly.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. I put some super glue on there, so everything is nice and secure. And I'm gonna body wrap this all the way to where I have the naked hook here. So it's gonna be fairly kind of a long way to go. There we go. Once again, we just go under with the thread like that, a few turns. Fold all the fibers back, and we just cut that off.
Perch hunters wonders what scissor you're using now.
This is this is the Tiemco. The little bit more advanced ones they have. I don't remember the name of it, but they are like 50 euros or something like that. There's one in titanium and one is not titanium. Not titanium, tungsten. Sorry about
tungsten,
that.
okay.
Yeah. The negative thing with the tungsten, they're very, very sharp. But if you drop them on the floor, on a hard floor, you can actually get the scissor to break because they're so.
They're too hard.
They're too hard.
Yeah.
But if you have a carpet or a rubber mat or something where you're tying, those are really nice scissors. But there are some really good ones on the market, to be honest.
Yep.
So we got the orange on there. We're just gonna make a drop of super glue here to be able to get that nice and secure. And then we're gonna tie some bucktail onto this. This is probably something you all have been using before. Bucktail is the tail of a white tip. So it contains a lot of air into the fibers that are closer to the ass of the animal or to the body. And the further you come to the tip, they will hold less air. So depending on what you want to do on the fly, you should choose material from different parts of the bucktail.
Okay.
A good tip can be that if you're tying a fly with a bucktail in the tail and a bucktail in the front, and you want to hollow tie it like we're going to do now, I would say if you hold it like this and this is the fly, that this is perfect for the tail because we don't want to hollow tie it in the tail because we want to have that material go all from the center and all the way out. And then the closer you come to the tip of the fly, the more of this fibers that's going to kind of really move out to create that volume. So
to sum up, the closer to the ass, and the more air in the fibers, and the more volume you get.
Yep.
And the closer to the tail, the less air and the thinner they are, and more movement, so to speak.
That's how I kind of do it when it comes to pike flies. You know, if you're not tying tube flies, because then you don't really tie that tail in. You want to have that big hollow tie style of tying right away.
And then you should have the flash behind.
Yeah. So then you kind of need to save this for the hook flies.
Okay.
So, or you give it to some of those guys who ties a lot of salmon. They're gonna be really happy because this is the part where they use, and this is the part where most of the pike guys goes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and this is non-synthetic. This is the real
this
stuff.
is the real deal. And to be honest, there are no real good substitute for this. I mean, these fibers, they are tapered, they are hollow, and they're very, very light. And still, when you feel them like this, they feel very, very tough.
Yeah.
You know, they don't feel soft,
No.
but as soon as you get them into the water, they just start to live completely. You can see that in Puru. He fished like a hollow beast in the last episode.
Yeah.
It looks like nothing, but when it comes in the water, it really moves well, and it just kind of builds up.
Yeah.
So it's that's a really good pattern from Mr. Bucktail himself, Mr. Bob Popovich. Not going to use that anymore. So we took some of the bucktail from the lower part of the tail here. We're going to take some of these fibers off that is too short, because they are just going to create too much volume, and or not volume. They're just going to actually create bulkiness, and that's going to make it much harder
Kill
to
the
get.
action and make it harder to cast.
Yeah. So we're not going to use too much of this. So once again, it's that Swedish word lagom. Everybody's going to learn that after this live show here. But it's, to be honest, to say how much this is really hard, but it's kind of half the amount of a simple pen. So not too much at all. You can always add bucktail, but if you put too much on it and then you want to try to take some off, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So less is more. You can always add it. So you just want to take those ends and kind of stack them together. You can stack them in your hand, or you can stack them in a stacker or on the table, doesn't really matter. So we're going to tie this forward. When you tie this, you want to have a naked hook or a naked tube, because you want to have this thread really being able to grab the material through and get that pressure onto the material, so you can compress the air inside and make it pop, kind of. So you need to have, if you have too much material where you're actually going to put that bucktail, you're not going to get that pressure all the way down to where you want it.
And the bucktail won't rise.
Not really, won't rise. And also, if you take it from the wrong part of the animal or on the tail, it's not going to behave the same way.
Okay.
So, I just pushed it over, kind of get all the fibers through the all around the hook. We make just one simple turn. You can make one more, and then you press. And then you just pull, and then you can see these fibers are actually just rising straight up.
That's cool.
Yeah. I did this to show you. No, I didn't actually. But I didn't really get all the materials all around it like this. You can see that the hook on the bottom part is naked. So I kind of need to add some material. That's not a problem at all. But it's better to have it that way than instead of I have to cut too much material.
Having too much material there.
Yeah. And this, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens during a live show.
Yeah, exactly.
We just have to live with that. I haven't cut the thread off yet, so I'm happy with that. So we're just going to do simple here. We're just going to add some of the material on the lower part of it and just pull the thread. When you use a strong thread like this and you want to pull, you can always pull with a straight bobbin. Don't use an angle to it, because then it's usually the thread breaks in a more simple way.
I got a question what your record pike is, and some people have answered that, and it's pending between 14 and 19 kilos, so maybe we can bring some clarity into that.
Well, 19 is very far from. No, the biggest one I have so far is the one
We filmed.
We filmed, yeah. I lost some really nice ones. I caught a very big one with Mark Sitvast in Holland this summer. Sadly, we lost a bag we weighed it in. So we couldn't really weigh it exactly, but it was like 13.5, 13.7, but we didn't know the weight of the bag because it was a very thin bag.
So what was the weight with the bag?
15 something, I think 14.7 or 15.
So it was one more around 14 kilos.
Yeah, it was
maybe.
probably around it, but we'll put it to 13.5, and I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the biggest one I had. But I had me and Mr. Serbink had one of these competitions that we wanted to try to go the first to 10 over 10, but he had kind of a winning streak there with like 7 over 10 in a few weeks. So I kind of lost that one.
Crazy.
So we just cut that nice and tight. It's really good thing to have some of these. This is our hair clamps. I buy this in Sweden. They are babyless. But the good thing with these is when you close them, they still make a round hole.
Okay.
They don't have any. You can use those clamps that you have on the flower sticks, stuff like that.
Okay.
But they are not really round, you know. So when you close these, they're really round and they grab the material in a good way. So it's
Perfect.
Good clamp to have.
Comment from Pike Fisher 1000. Wish I get to meet you. Meet you one day, maybe on the lake. Yeah. Another great place to meet Niklaus and his friends is the sport fishing fair in March in Sweden.
Yep.
Especially if you're from Sweden, but also there are quite some people from Denmark and Germany, Netherlands coming to the fair as well.
Yep. And also I'm going to be in Denmark this weekend at the Danish Fly Festival. So
okay.
That's also, and I'm going to be in Germany at a big show there in the first weekend of April.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the show's name are, sadly, but
no. But
one of the big shows in Germany. So we tie this hollow tie, and now we need to reverse this. Of course, you can reverse it with your fingers, but that's not that simple. What you can use is just the lower part of a pen. So you kind of put a pen together or take it apart, and you get that tube, and then you just kind of fold it back. I have a very nice tool that a friend of mine did, Mr. Miges in Holland. So what you do is you kind of just lift those fibers, and gently you push all those fibers back like that. So go like this, fold it back. Then you get all the materials simple like this. It's called hollow tie. And then you just massage these fibers a little bit at the base here, so you can kind of get the right angle to them. You don't want to have those fibers sticking straight up. You want to have those leaning at a 45-degree angle. You can see actually we almost got that right just by putting some tension to them, but they should be like this. So you get that volume, but not getting all the materials lying through it like this. So push them back. Usually when you have like this, we will have our thread. If the control room, actually we have a good picture of this. You can see that the thread is here. It's not there where we want it. We have it a few millimeters into the bucktail.
Okay.
So if we take this thread, and the first thing we do is we just wrap it in front of that, we're actually going to collect some of the fibers here. And we're going to get a gap underneath here. So what you want to do is you want to take that thread, you want to run it straight in front like that, so it doesn't take so many fibers underneath.
Okay.
And then you want to wrap it like that, because then you kind of get all those fibers underneath here. It's not gonna, if you can show it here, they're not gonna pick all those fibers up. So that's a good tip. It's a good tip, and also it's really good if you're having a problem getting the right balance on the fly. Sometimes if that takes a few fibers off, so you get that gap in between, you can get a certain unbalance to the fly.
Okay.
So you hold those. We can put one of those hair clamps over here, and then we're gonna create a support here for those fibers. So we make kind of a slope. So now they're leaning at a 45-degree angle. Of course, we always have some of these fibers that doesn't want to cooperate. We just have to live with those. And then we put some super glue on here again. So
Comment from Dan Freeman. Will you be at the London Fly Fish Hair, he says, but I don't know if it means fair or...
No, I'm not going to be at that fair. I might. It might be so that I'm going to go to the show in New Jersey, in the States, in November, I think.
Okay.
It's not 100%, but it seems like some guys from Sweden are going to make an appearance in that show.
Cool.
We'll see. It's not 100% yet, but we hope we can go. So now we get that angle that I would like to have. We're going to choose.
Was it the tool? Was it made by Andre
Migis.
Yeah, he's watching.
Ah.
Nice tool, my friend. Good
Thanks,
to
man.
see you use it on
Mr.
your level
Perch.
flies. Okay, great.
That's one bad perch dude. So we're going to use some grizzly fibers, or grizzly feathers actually. This is from the bugger packs from Whiting. They're really good stuff. You can use these, or you can just use some schlappen fibers, or something a little bit longer. But whatever you want to do, you want to have a fiber that is long. I like to have them buried, so they have that little bit perchy kind of feeling to them. Like
Nice,
that.
yeah.
Yep. This
is also the real deal.
This is the
Not
real deal.
synthetic,
So this is no synthetic. This is these are actually bred, or they're kind of grown up only for the purpose of fly tying.
Okay.
So they're handled with love and care from Dr. Tom Whiting, and he's doing an awesome job for us fly tyers because he can really get some cool feathers actually. You can have different feathers for different occasions and different type of flies.
Cool.
So these, when you have feathers like this, you can tie them. This is what we call back to back. I'll put them back to back, and I can show you like this. If you tie them back to back like this, you're actually going to have, when you pull, these feathers are going to go like this, and then they're going to go out again.
Okay.
So you can get an action of a fly that
Sideways.
really, sideways
Yep.
like that.
Cool.
If you tie them like this on a fly like this, they are going to slow down the fly, and then you're not going to have that same fly going to move sideways like
Kicking
this.
sideways.
So we want to tie them belly to belly, like that.
Okay.
And then we're going to have a fly that it's not going to slow down. They are actually going to help that fly skid really well in the water instead of slow it down.
So you can choose how you want them to affect the fly. Yeah?
Yep. So if you want to tie them in a tail, so you want to have a tail that really kicks, kind of a wave tail like this, you should tie them like this. If you want to have a fly that's really pushing a lot of water, could tie them in like this. So a lot of the musky guys in the States, they tie them like this, bunches.
Yeah.
So it makes a big appearance in the water. But we don't want that, not for this fly. So we strip those marabou-like fibers off, like this. So we have them all naked and clear like that. I'm going to show you the way that you can do it when you start to tie these feathers in, because it can be a little bit tricky to get them not to kind of move all the way to the fly. So the simple way to do it is kind of to put a drop of super glue here, like this, so you have a kind of a wet position to place the feathers in. Then we want to have those in a 45-degree angle, so they kind of go like this, follow the fibers. That was really hard.
And there you can also see how we stripped the feathers off.
Naked.
Yeah.
So, and then you lie it down like this, kind of tie it in. You hold those
on the side of the fly.
On the side of the fly, and you just make a few very light turns on that, because if you put too much tension to them, they're just gonna go. They're gonna flip like that.
Okay.
So we tied it in on this side.
Firmly.
Yeah. So then we're gonna do the same thing.
So you said a 45-degree angle. Angle to what? Pointing upwards?
Angle to the hook. So they should be kind of following the bucktail like that.
Okay, so slightly upwards.
Yeah, I don't actually know if it's a 45-degree angle. I always say like that, but it's probably
everything's 45.
Yeah. Well, 90 is like that, so 45 should be in the in between there.
Sort of.
So you do the same thing here. You kind of push the finger onto it. This can be a little bit tricky, but you push it down like that. And don't put too much tension to the thread until you kind of made them secure and in place. Then you can put some tension to it. And then you got them following the fly a little bit like that, and get that nice
creating a back of it.
Yeah, kind of a perchy approach to the fly.
Comment from Fishing Galway. Hello from Ireland. He has some shitty weather today for fishing, so this is perfect. Watch the live show instead.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we just got a few inches or 10 centimeters of snow in Stockholm this morning, so it's really shitty here.
Feels like December.
I thought it was supposed to be spring at this time. But
last week we had a sort of spring.
Yeah. But now it's all back again. So we got that feathers there, so they're going to make a nice back to the fly. Hope it looks good on your side too. It looks pretty okay on my side. We're going to use some Flashabou. I only use the original Flashaboo from Hedron because it's really reliable and it's really good stuff. They are made as probably since the 50s, so it's really good stuff. We're gonna get this into the camera here. We're gonna use what's called Polar Flash. It's a mixture of Flashaboo and some fibers, and then we're gonna use the holographic olive. It's a fairly new color.
Cool.
But it's really nice. These are completely different texture on these two materials, so they have a very good blend of volume, shine, and also texture. So you can get them to move in different ways. These are much lighter fibers, so even when the fly is standing really still, it's going to kind of move. And these are a little bit more heavy-duty fibers. So when you pull the fly, they're kind of gonna they're moving in a different way. So a good mixture. Don't use just one type of Flashaboo. Mixture in between different densities or different thicknesses. It's really a good way to go.
Cool.
So we're gonna take not too many fibers here. We're just gonna make, I would say, 15 strands of each, like that. I'm gonna put them down on the table like that. You're gonna take the Polar Flash. We're gonna do the same.
Comment from Jack Johansson in Malå.
Yeah.
Hi Niklaus and Pontus and Kanalgratis. I get so inspired by your videos and greetings from Malå. That's up north.
Yep. I think I had him on a tying course up there.
Yeah.
Or actually I've had him a few times on a tying course up there. Good place.
Good place for fishing. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching and thanks for the comments. Appreciate it. So now we got these two fibers here. I'm going to blend them together. So the most simple way is to hold them between your thumb and your finger, and then you kind of roll it like this, the same time as you comb them together like this.
Comment from Perch Hunters. Is this the Magnum Flashaboo?
No, it's regular Flashaboo.
The regular Flashaboo.
Yeah. The Magnum Flashaboo I usually use for bigger patterns, and also for a lot of tube flies and stuff like that. I want to use this a little bit thinner material, as long as you don't have a stinger. If you have a stinger on them, you kind of need to go into more heavy duty
to avoid tangling.
To avoid tangling in the stinger. So this is the normal stuff. So we just kind of I moved it from this point to this point. It's just a good way to get a good mixture like this in a simple way. And now you can see it's mixed pretty well together. So now we can use it. It's important to taper. I think at least it's important to taper the Flashaboo so the ends are not just cut off like that. So they look like coming straight out of the bag, like that.
Various lengths.
No, I want to have the nice taper to the fly because we have spent so much time doing that nice taper. So we kind of pull the fibers a little bit like that, so they have a nice taper to it. And then we're gonna use most on these fibers, the full length. So I kind of divide it into two bunches, put one on the table like that, and one here. We're gonna tie it in 50-50. That means we're gonna have 50% on the back and 50% of the material.
So have some of the material in your hand.
Yeah, I have the same length on the fly as I have in my hand.
Yeah, people can't see it really, but if you show it to the camera like that.
So it's 50-50 actually. So we tie it on top of it. We kind of, when you tie it in like that, I kind of like to twist it slightly between my fingers like that, and it's going to expand a little bit like that. So it's nice to get that spread on top of it.
Okay.
So cool. I spread it, make one simple turn, kind of move the material so it's all on top of the fly, a nice spread to it.
Sweet.
And then we kind of tie it down, make sure it's nice and evenly placed from this side to this side, so we have a nice back to it. We fold this material over, and then you kind of compress it with your thumb like that. I'm going to show that for the camera. So go like this. You fold it, and when you compress it with your thumb, it kind of moves out like that.
Cool.
And then you get that nice spread to it. You hold it with your left hand, and you tie it over.
Kind of an off-topic question from Tommy Hanberg. What kind of jacket would be a good fishing jacket for boat fishing in the spring, summer, and autumn?
Well, I use the Vision jackets. I use the Vana jacket, the red and red and black one.
Yeah.
We have a green one now that is it's called Lohi. means salmon in Finnish.
And how do they? Can you use them in the summer, or are they too warm?
No, I mean it's a layer jacket.
It's a layer jacket. Yeah.
So it's all about. It doesn't have any warmth. It's just windproof, waterproof, breathable.
Yeah.
So you need to dress underneath. Today, we used to use fleece, but today we only use Primaloft.
Yeah.
This is a very, very light fiber. It's warm when it's wet, and it's warm when it's dry. You can pack it down to just a small bag.
And that's the ones that looks like down jackets.
Yeah,
The black ones.
in Flyversus Jerk. Extremely warm, extremely light, and they're just really, really good.
So you use the layering jackets on top all year round, and then depending on the weather, you put layers on underneath.
I use a Primaloft underneath, and if it's really warm and a nice day, well, you just kind of take that jacket off.
Yep.
And fish only with the Primaloft, because it's like the feeling you only have a t-shirt on, even if it's like 5 degrees outside and there's no rain and no wind.
Yeah.
So that's what we usually do.
So that's a great tip. Use layers, and those vision jackets will work all year round.
Yeah.
And we have them in the Kanalgratis web shop now as well.
And also, if you want to use some other type of jacket, like like an outdoor jacket, like Patagonia or something like that, the only thing you need to make sure that the sleeves for fishing is that you don't have a Velcro that is on top of the sleeve like that, and you have that Velcro kind of going this way, because it's a really good thing that it will pick up the shooting line.
When you fly fish.
Yeah. So as soon as you cast, and it has a Velcro going like this, and you have a kind of a like this Velcro is sticking out,
and
like
that is cardboard.
Yeah, cardboard. Yeah. So it's just gonna take that. The running line is when you cast.
Okay.
When you shoot, that has a tendency to kind of lift that. So whatever kind of jacket you want to buy, make sure it has a straight, clean arms. Clean endings of the arms.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take. Now we got that long fibers here. A lot of jacket talk here.
Yeah.
Back to the fly tying. I have the long fibers here. They are nice and tapered. So I'm going to take this other bunch we had on the table. I'm going to fold it into half like this. See if we can see it like that. Cut it up. Push them together. And then we're going to taper those ends. Like that. So they are nice and tapered. And this we're actually going to tie in on the lower section of the fly, because I don't want to have too long fibers on the lower section, because then they're going to tangle and stuff like that. So I want to have that shorter as a belly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with the thread here. That fiber did not want to incorporate in that. Do the same thing, kind of spread them out. Make a very simple turn like that. Oops. Kind of just want to get that thread all the way up like that. So it's nice and evenly spread out, and we just fold these. You can always you can also throw these in the dubbing twister, but we didn't do that because there were only so few fibers like that. So now we have it shorter fibers on the lower section of it.
On the belly? Yeah.
On the belly, and longer on there. So we have that fly really a nice way and a good balance to it. If you put too much material on the belly, you're going to have a problem with the fly kind of going the wrong way. So you always want to have a little bit more material on the back than on the belly.
And then the hook on the belly, like as a weight,
works as a keel.
Yeah.
So if you use 2 light wire hooks, you're going to have a very poor balance in your fly.
So with a light keel and lots of material underneath, the hook,
you don't
the fly will flip.
You don't have any balance on the fly anymore. So now we put some glue here again.
Mikko Hirvanen likes our off-topic talk and asks if we can go on like this until 8 p.m. tonight, because it makes his work much more fun. Would love to.
Well, just a long lunch break.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make a dubbing loop here, and we're gonna throw some craft fur into a dubbing loop. A good tip is to take all these fibers, take that hair clamp, and kind of get it out of the way. Then we're gonna make a dubbing loop, and if you haven't done that before, you make a dubbing loop. You go out with your finger like this. This is probably,
hope you can see it.
Yeah, probably 10 centimeters, and then you tie the thread onto the same place again, making a few turns. And then the most important thing here, when you do it like this, we're just gonna tighten that a little bit. Let's see if we can get it steady. Now this is open here. see the gap here is open. So even if you push this dubbing loop together, it's still open here. So whatever material you're going to put in here, it's going to move when you twist it.
Let's see, if you move away so we can see it against the black background, maybe we can see them.
So you can
better.
see, it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see it's actually open here.
Down there it's a gap, yeah, it's not tight
and you
together.
you can't really see it, but it's the same open as it is here. It is always all the way down to the fly. And when I push these together, I want to have that thread close all the way into.
Otherwise, the fibers will just fall off.
Yeah, it's going to be much more hard to use the dubbing twister. So what you want to do, I can do this. We can kind of go 1 with the thread, with the bobbin, 2 with the bobbin, around like that.
Wait for the camera to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay,
so now we closed it.
Can you show that again?
Yeah,
now
I can untangle it.
So you can see it.
I can untangle it
Is that
again.
possible? Yeah.
So we go like this. We have this.
We have the loop.
Like that. So we go.
And if you go away again, so we can see against the black background.
So we go 1 turn over, 2 turns over like that.
Yeah.
Twice, and then you attach it to the fly again.
And now it's closed all the way down.
Now it's closed all the way down. So when I push this together, it's closed all the way down. So the fibers will not move,
Yeah, great.
So that's a very important tip, and a lot of people who has a hard time kind of using a dubbing twister with flashable and with different types of material, this is the key thing.
If you don't do that, it will be pain in the ass.
That and the choice of dubbing twister. This is the Pedichan dubbing twister, and this is really a good tool when you want to play around with craft fur, flashable and stuff like this.
Okay.
It's a slow moving twister in my opinion. So it's not that little brass thing that you just kick on like that and it just twists the thread like crazy. It's really slow moving and it's very simple to work with.
Okay, so if you show it slowly, we can see it in the camera, and maybe if you move away. So how do you put the twister in?
So you kind of go like this, and you have 2 sticks or pins sticking up like that. So you kind of just pull it in like that.
Okay.
So that's it, and now you have that.
It's very simple.
There.
Yeah, cool.
So what we're gonna do after that, we're gonna put some wax. Definitely, if you're a beginner, wax is much more simple to use because it's going to grab that material.
Hold the fibers.
Yeah, it's going to hold the fibers in place. So it's very simple. So we put some wax on it. Don't put your fingers on the thread. If you put too much wax on it, don't go there with your fingers because again you're going to have wax on your fingers, and then when you touch the material, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Okay.
So no fingers on that. Leave that down, and then we're going to prepare some craft fur. Maybe we should use some. Oh, see if I can find some quickly here.
Comment from Emils Armoska. Hey guys, will this or any future live tying episodes will be uploaded to YouTube for later viewing? Yes, this live show will go up on YouTube like any video after this is done. So you will be able to watch this anytime and go back.
It's going to be a long fly tying video.
Yeah, the longest Pike fly video on YouTube ever.
So I'm going to go with some burnt orange here. This is just a nice, because I'm going to use an orange and red head on this.
Okay.
So I just want to have that nice color combination going from the olive and green into a little bit orange head to it. I mean, you can use olive if you don't want to buy too many different colors. But
and that's the case with the whole fly. You can use any colors of the material as you like.
This is just we can tie. We have the exact same fly here. This is silver with a silver tail on it.
Super cool.
Silver tail like that. So it's a very herring pattern. Here's one with a black one. It's been swimming a lot, so it looks a little bit funny. But this is with the new dragon tails in size XL. So it's the same fly, but in black. You can see that narrow head to it.
Super cool.
Yeah.
How long are they approximately?
Well, I would say if I put it in my hand like this, they are.
So without the tail, maybe 15 centimeters or 17?
Yeah, I would say 15, something like that. Yeah.
And with the tail, it gets 20 something, 23, 22.
Yeah, like in my hand.
Hand long.
Yeah, and a very good thing is if you talk to a lot of good anglers, if they're bait fishermen or if they're lure fishermen or something like that, a lot of the bait that is really working for catching numbers and big fish is the same size as your palm. If you look to guys who've been fishing for a long time, the size that a lot of people are talking about, if we're not downsizing and upsizing, but if you just look to a lot of lures and stuff like that.
The go-to size for any.
The go-to size for everything is the same size as your palm.
And that's 15 to 25?
Yeah, I would say it like that. Yeah. If you look to some of those awesome baits in the history, you know, they have some of those baits that have been catching a lot of fish in a lot of years. They have always been the size of your palm. it's a good
Cool.
tip. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So I was doing some craft here. Sidetracked. Sorry about that. We're going to cut that fibers off. So I'm going to lay this on the table so I make a nice and clean cut here.
Okay, one more getting off track from a comment from Zero Bravo 3. When do you use this fly to catch pike in the spring? What color water? And what is this
Anywhere.
fly good for? Yeah, we talked about it in the
Anytime.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And this is a great all-round fly.
Yeah.
That primarily imitates a perch. So
Yeah.
preferably when the perch are spawning in shallow waters.
Yeah, or the pike are feeding on perch.
Yeah,
you
in
know,
general,
but
yeah.
something to have to do with perch. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
But I would say a red head olive fly with a little bit golden and olive in it is going to work.
It's a great
basically.
all-round pattern.
Yeah, it's just like a green and gold fly. It's going to work basically everywhere.
Yeah.
If the water is not too clear and the fish is really, really picky, then you need to go into black maybe or something like that. But I would say it's going to basically work. It's one of my favorite color combinations, and it's basically going to work wherever you want to fish it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Probably going to work for a lot of the other type of fish too, even if they're not feeding for perch.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here, I cut these fibers into a nice and straight here, so you can see that. So I'm going to put these into the dubbing loop. So what you do is you hold that dubbing loop up, and you take that fibers, you hold the right side of it, you fold it into the dubbing loop like that, and you move it like that. Then you have them inside the dubbing loop like this. Then you kind of pull those fibers so they're not sticking too far to the left. And then if you hold your dubbing loop like this, or your dubbing tool like this, level or slightly up, you're not going to have any problems with this material folding on the floor or falling out of the dubbing loop or something like this. If you have a steady pressure to it, and like this, it's going to be very, very secure like that. So slightly up towards you, and then we're going to make like a small carpet of this. So spread it out evenly. The better you're doing this, the better actually the result is going to be. So
we have a comment here for the third time. We haven't had time to pick it up. And I said, I'll ask for the third time. Sorry. Masei Lucas. What's the biggest fly you ever use for pike? And what's the biggest fly and fly rod? What do you use? How heavy do you go?
I fish 10 weight for pike. That's maximum.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no need for bigger.
No, I mean, a 10 weight will cast the same flies as a 12 weight will do, because there are no 12 weights that are kind of made for big, bulky flies. They are more made for tarpon, that type of fish where you use smaller flies.
Yeah.
So most of the pike rods that I use today is made for casting big, chunky stuff, you know.
With a different action for that.
Yeah, so it's a little bit slower action. So I fish a 9 weight and I fish a 10 weight. I've used some of these 30 centimeter tube flies. I was fishing with a friend of mine, Mange, and we had all the pike were following the small jacks we were catching. So we pushed one green and gold onto that, a big green and gold tube. Nothing happened, only the small ones were taking them, so we pushed another one. So we were pushing probably 50 centimeters of pike flies, but still they were just eating the small jacks, or they were following the small jacks that were eating our big flies, you know. So I go up to maybe this size of flies when they're feeding on bream or eel or something like that. But
like up in Sjölund also, when we had this big pike following the small pike, and then you started catching them on your biggest pike pattern.
Yeah,
that was like,
definitely.
what was it, 40?
Oh, that was
45?
45 centimeter pike fly. So if they're feeding like that, that's one of those times you have really made a difference. You know, the bigger, the better they were.
Yeah, and then that works great with a 10 weight rather.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now we put it into the twister here. We got some stupid fibers that I also want to play around here. So now we want to push these fibers as close to the dubbing loop as possible, and then
to the base of it.
Yeah, to the base of it, and then you hold it like this, and then you kind of cut these.
Excess.
This is hard to do, so you can see it in the camera. But so you don't want to have too long fibers sticking on the left side here, because they are just going to go straight up into the head.
Okay.
So the closer you want to do here, the better it is. And then you just hold this slightly towards it like this, and you hold this like a joint here, and then you just twist this to the right or to the left, whatever you feel like. This is going to tangle a little bit. Kind of just needs to be a little bit aware of that. And then we just twist it. like this. And why we do this is to get this material onto the thread really, really strong without those fibers laying very flat. I want to get a little bit volume of this. And this is the same way we do with flashable, you know. So we kind of use the dubbing needle, push those fibers up. Got a fly tying helper here.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. And then we kind of just take the dubbing needle and lift these fibers off from the thread here. And then you can feel it when it's stuck on the thread here. It's done, you know. I just take one of these small brushes, and then you kind of just play a tough guy onto the material here. So it's attached to the thread. I'm gonna make sure it's on one side of each here. So now it's on the thread. Now we just want to have this kind of doubled, like you double a hackle or something like this. So you wet your fingers, you kind of just push all the material on one side.
Also push it down like that? Yeah.
Push it down like this. The more moisture you put on this, actually the better it is. And then you're gonna see you're gonna have all those fibers on one side like that.
Cool.
And then we just, very simple, we just hackle this forward like this. Kind of, we're gonna have a bulky head under here, but it doesn't really matter because this is all gonna be kind of vanished under the head we're gonna make here. We cut that off. And we got some of these fibers that are just kind of making that head look nice and a nice transit to the next material we're gonna have there.
Cool.
So, and that's basically the last thing before the head. So we're just gonna put some a drop of super glue here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this new material that's gonna be available hopefully in a week in shops. It's called Predator dubbing, and it's a very long kind of a laser dub to it. So when you pull these fibers out, it's really, really long fibers like this, as you can see. Much, much longer than laser dub and stuff like that. So what you want to do is you want to just kind of work up a little bit of volume in this material here. Make sure that the glue is a little bit dry. You put it on top like this. You spread it out like an even carpet. And then you take your thread and you kind of use that thread with a very, very light turn to get that material all around the hook like that. You put it together. You make a few turns so it's nice and secure. We comb that up so it's nice all around the head like that. We also comb that material that's in front of the head. Kind of get that nice and evenly spread around it. Push that material back like that. And now we're going to start creating that head of it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's super simple to work with, and it just makes those really, really nice heads. And when you glue the eyes to this, they are become very, very strong. So we do the exact same thing again, pulling some fibers off. And we're not talking about the small amount. This is a huge amount in a bag like this. So it's probably like 40 flies in one bag. It's going to be 20 really badass colors. And of course, it's a little bit fluorescent.
We like that.
Yeah. So we're going to do exactly the same thing again. Kind of get that fibers around the hook. You want to get that thread to work all around the hook, getting those fibers. Kind of make a light turn, and then you put some tension to the thread.
A comment here from Swedish Super Stuff, if there will be a clip on this fly later. And well, this video will go up on YouTube, and you can watch it afterwards. But we won't. We don't have a Thai TV episode of this fly only, you know, without our off-topic talk.
This is going to be. You have to live with that.
Yeah. we might.
But there is a fast forward button.
Yeah, exactly. And we filmed last week a big bunch of new Thai TV episodes that we're gonna upload during this year.
Yeah, and we're gonna film some more a little bit later on too.
Exactly. So there are more Thai TV episodes coming up.
Yeah. So then you just use your comb or your brush or your dubbing needle to get that head into nice a nice shape, a nice volume, and you're really going to have that bulky head that's going to create that water stream pushing around here, and it's actually going to go into this and touch the tail, and it's going to make that tail kick really well.
Like when you're driving behind a big truck.
Yeah, you get you get all that. Yeah. But that's you want to have that turbulence. That's exactly what you want to do. And that's if you tie this too much together, not with this gap here, it's not going to kick as nice, you know. So now we're going to take that clamp again, and to have a nice finish to this fly, I'm just gonna. I don't want to have too of a visible thread base here. Even if the pike is not going to swim up to this fly and say, hey, I can see the white thread. Looks like shit, but in any case. So we're going to color it with a red marker.
Okay, to cover the white, yeah.
Yeah, just to make it
look good.
It's such a small thing. Nobody actually will care, except me. But I'm picky with stuff like this. So I'm just going to make a few turns with the whip finish to make sure that's strong and durable. Tie that off, put some glue on the thread because we're not going to put any epoxy or something on the thread here, so we're just going to make a little bit of glue on the thread. And then if you don't know how to make a whip finish, this is the perfect end to end the fly to. Just put some glue on the thread, make a few wraps, you're home free.
Comment from Dominique Leblanc. I guess you don't put thread over that dubbing to have a bulkier head, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Right on target.
Right on target.
So that's basically what we want to do here. We're just going to glue some eyes, and of course we're going to show you how to attach that wiggle tail or dragon tail or whatever to the fly.
Right.
But now we have basically that fly done. We have this really cool red tip here that's going to create that white or that red fin on the perch. We got some yellow in here. We got some trigger points into it, so now there's so much fluorescent in this, so you can't really see it.
A lot of fluorescent stuff. Now
but we have this.
Now we can see the beads instead also.
Yeah, we can see the beads inside here, and also that where we colored that thread in there. It's going to look much better with the orange instead of that white thread.
Yeah.
So color it olive or color it orange, and then we have that fluorescent tip, and of course we have this fluorescent head. And that's what I really like when you're tying these orange or red heads, that this red hook is really looking nice to it. It doesn't give that really... I just love it. I mean, those colors,
really cool.
It's really, really cool.
We're going to give away this fly also?
Yes, we are actually.
How should we pick the winner? Should we create the question like it's a small quiz?
I'm going to lose my super nice tail here, but I have to live with that. Jonathan, you're up for painting here.
Paint a new one. So what we should do, we should ask them a question, how long was your biggest pike caught in that episode, so they can do some thinking.
Well, you make up your mind. I think we should give this one out, and then a nice Big Daddy t-shirt.
Yeah.
In large. These are the new ones that are with this material and this company called Pure Waste. It's really a cool Finnish company. Yeah, they are very, very environmentally friendly. Usually when you make a t-shirt, they use 2,700 liters of water. I mean, it's incredible waste on the nature. But these are made with 12... Recycled water, 12 liters of water per t-shirt. And they're also made by recycled t-shirts. So they can be green or blue. No, of course, they are the right color. But it's recycled material, really soft and really nice. And it's really good for the environment. So we're going to give this one off.
Yeah.
And the fly.
Yeah, in a pack, that's good.
And you have to determine how we're going to do
this. Okay, so the question is, how long was Niklaus Bauer's pike weighing in at 14 kilos? How long?
Is that on the video?
It's on the video.
Okay, good.
I think so. Do you know the answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so the first comment with the correct length
actually I don't. But we have a huge problem, Pontus.
What?
Because my epoxy is in the kitchen.
We can go and get that. That's no problem. I can go and do that for you.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so you can keep a track here. Here's the comments and see if I can.
I don't know if I know the name. 130. Okay, I got it.
I think.
Cool. I really want that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, get that length into there.
So epoxy
on the heater behind the kitchen table. 2 bottles. We got a winner. I think Pontus need to do this because I'm probably gonna
Can't find
things
the
up.
epoxy.
I like the guy saying 126, but that's not the right answer.
Couldn't find, but Attila will. Where was it, did you say?
På elementet. På elementet bakom
Attila is
köksbordet.
fixing that.
This is live, guys. Sorry
This is
about
live,
that.
yeah.
That's
Behind the
one
scenes.
thing I wasn't supposed to remember.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, we had the first here. I think it's.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was 113, I think.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So the winner is Peter Lindberg.
Congratulations.
I hope
getting a fly.
I hope you have the size large on your T-shirt.
Otherwise, it's going
That's
to be
one we
skinny.
have. Yeah. Send me your address to Pontus@kanalgratis.se, and I will send you the package this week.
Why this was not in the here? Because when you want to use epoxy, you want to use it warm.
So that's
the
what was on
warmer
the
it is,
heater, yeah.
the more simple it is to work with. So it was on the heater, on the kitchen, on the on the wall. So we forgot about that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But another a good tip with epoxy, if it becomes really old, just boil it. Put it in warm water, and it's going to be very, very simple to work with. So
And some comments against me that I whispered too loud, that they heard what I said. It's these mics, they're too good.
well.
But it's all about being fast also, guys, you know. Peter nailed that one.
We have some other stuff to give out, so.
Yeah. We have we have this 14 kilo pike here. You can see on the overlay picture, really fat pike. So 113 and 14 kilos, that's super duper fat.
That was incredible fat, really.
Yeah.
It was one of those
Like that.
days we will never remember. We will never forget. Never remember. That was
Never remember. Yeah, that's the most awesome pike I've ever seen.
So when you mix the epoxy together, it's no rocket science. You just have to use the same amount of both. We put them on the table like this. If the epoxy is cold, you can always use a lighter and heat it up before you start to mix it. Then it's going to be much more simple to work with. And also if you have a lot of bubbles in the epoxy after you have mixed it, take a lighter, just go over it very quickly, and those bubbles will disappear.
Cool stuff.
So you take your dubbing needle, you mix it together.
We can't see the epoxy, if you can like hold it up.
Like this.
Yep.
This is like a cooking program.
Yep.
So first it becomes murky, or it's not clear. Then it's mixing together actually.
Microphone is kind of off.
We need to stop this live show soon.
Yeah, soon
We're going to fuck things up soon.
Yep.
So we mix it together. When it gets clear again, it's ready to use.
Okay.
So just make sure of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of your dubbing needle like this. We're going to work with the epoxy from straight up. Don't use your dubbing needle like this. Use it from the straight up like that, because it's much more simple to get the epoxy into the material. So what we want to do is we want to go support your thumb like this and kind of push the material, push the epoxy into the dubbing. If you do this the right way, it's going to be super durable. Well, that was actually enough on that side. So give you some support if you need it. And kind of work that epoxy into the dubbing. If you do this the right way,
So it doesn't just attach to the surface?
No, if you do it the right way, it really gets into the material, and it's gonna. Those eyes are going to stay there for a very long time. Like this fly we used in. This fly is attached right the same way, and you can see those eyes are really.
They're sticking there.
They're sticking there, but they are completely broken. But it's going to last really, really long.
How many pike did you say that you have caught in this
At
fly?
least 50.
Yeah.
At least.
Crazy stuff.
So, so the epoxy is there. The amount of epoxy I usually put on is the same amount or slightly smaller than the pupil of the eye. I like to have really fluorescent eyes onto these. There we go. See if I can show this. So they really pop. And you kind of just take that eye, put it into the wet epoxy, press it down a little bit, take the other eye, turn the fly around. Whoops. Shouldn't jump like that. On the other side like that. So when you have this when these are situated nice and even, like that, and you're happy with it, the only thing you do is you take one of these clamps, you push those eyes together to be able to create that high and narrow shape to it, and then take this clamp off so you don't get the fibers to kind of stick in that direction.
Okay.
So you want to lift that
like
up.
that,
You can always lift it up a little bit more because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're gonna fall back anyhow.
So now this clamp is pushing the material or the epoxy into the fly, and it's becoming it really, really strong. So we can kind of take this out because we don't have to watch this dry, and we can put one of those tails on here.
Yeah.
Put that on.
Yeah. So now we're gonna show the connection to the tail.
Yeah.
How to tie that.
Put that to dry there.
And that's a fast tie.
This is a 30 centimeter tie, 30 second tie, so it's not hard at all. We're gonna see if I have the material to use here. We have that here.
And while he does that, we're gonna have another giveaway, like we said, with this Fly vs Jerk fly that he caught all the big pike on the Fly vs Jerk 8, first episode and second episode.
Yeah.
So what should we do then? Should we bunch it together with the other T-shirt?
Yeah, we have another T-shirt, and we have the new Big Daddy box.
We can have the Big Daddy box separately.
Do you have that separate? Okay.
Yeah.
That's up to you. Yeah. Here's the one I'm using, the Save the Natives.
So we're gonna give away this fly together with the Save the Natives shirt. And what should we do then? How should we give that away?
To the first guy who picks the color of my car in Fly vs.
Yeah, okay. What color does Niklaus Bauer have?
It doesn't need to be exactly the color. I mean, is it black, white,
Yeah, exactly.
red, blue, whatever.
Okay, so let's just wait for the correct answer.
I'll tie this for the being.
Yep.
So I didn't have the right clip onto this, so I'm gonna take a fast attachment and I'm gonna just tweak it a little bit. So
You hold a bit further down.
yeah, this is the fast attachment like this. It has this. If you can zoom this in, it has this clip here. So I'm just gonna kind of cut that off so it makes like a loop. I think you got that. So we're gonna put this into the vise. Usually when you use this hook for tails, what you wanna do is you wanna have this loop. Whoops. We wanna have that loop facing towards the right, and we want to have that little snap or little hook going up straight into the vise, so it actually attaches the tail to it. So loop to the right.
Now we have a winner. Lots of people thought it was red, but it wasn't. It was orange. A special from Olofsson Bil.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So Niklaus. Wait, now the comments disappeared. Niklaus Johansson is the winner. So send me your address and we'll send you that pack with a fly and T-shirt.
Cool.
Well done.
So the same thread, or you can go a thinner thread. It doesn't really matter. So we attach it to the wet glue I put on here. We just cut that material off. This is a very simple thing, so no brain surgery. We take a few turns. We take whatever you want to attach here. We can take this really badass perch dragon tail that's custom painted. These are going to be available later this year. These tips are, of course, fluorescent, so it's going to be badass. So what you want to do, or what I like to do, is I want to have this tail facing the floor. I know it's going to face this way, so the tip is going to facing you guys. And I just want to have this material kind of going around here. I'm going to see if I can show you this. So it should be like that. You see that? And then you want to, this is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to try if I can show it to the camera the best way possible. So I fold it a little bit like that and try to grab the material. Can't really see what I'm doing here, but I'm going to grab it with the thread like that and tie it in. It's not going to look pretty, but nobody's really going to see this. So that's how it's going to turn out. You just make your whip finish and a drop of super glue, and
It's done.
That's it. And of course, if you want to have a trigger point here, if this is going to be visible, just color it with orange or red or whatever you want to do, and it's good. But this one I'm not going to give away because this one I'm going to use.
You stole one of mine last week, so
Sorry about that, guys. So attached like that, you have that snap, and these are really cool. You should, some of you guys who fish lures, you should really try these on tail baits. I think that can be a really, really cool thing, even if you're fishing a lure. So that's how it is.
Cool one.
Yeah, and you can
follow up on the jacket question. The brown jacket you had in the 14 kilo Pike episode. What's the name of that one, and does it work to have fall and early?
That's the Primaloft, the old brown one.
Primaloft, yeah.
We don't have that. That's not available any longer. We have a black one that's slightly thinner.
Yeah.
That was 100 grams. That's how they kind of measure them, 40, 60, 80, 100 grams.
Per
per whatever centimeters
something,
or something like that. We run the black one now, like you can see the same jacket in Fly vs. Jerk. Thomas and I are fishing that. It's a black one, but it's Primaloft, but at 60 grams.
Okay.
And it's you don't need that 100 grams because they are so damn warm.
I use this black one all year round together with the layering jacket, and they work awesome.
Yeah. So that's not available. You might find it probably on discount in certain web shops, but otherwise
some web shops might still have them.
Yeah. But otherwise it's the black one, 60 grams, and they retail like 150 euros, 140 euros maybe.
Yeah, I think it's even less now.
No.
We have a campaign.
Yeah, actually we have a campaign, yeah.
I think it's 995 kronor or something, yeah.
That's correct.
We have them at the Kanalgratis web shop.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do.
So a good tip, you save that piece of paper, so you can kind of check that the epoxy is dry. You don't have to touch the fly. And then, well, that's at least my first pike fly ever tied live.
Super cool.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I saw a comment earlier if we can put it in the tank and show it, like this very one.
Yeah, of course.
We have that's the same, model, but this very one.
Just have to make sure that eyes are.
And while you do that, we can give away this box. Also,
you can do that. I'm gonna.
I can do that while you attach it.
There you go.
So, new giveaway coming up. The Big Daddy. What is it called? Aqua fly box. Big Daddy.
They're waterproof, so you can have it in your belly boat.
Exactly. These are waterproof. Are they like 100% waterproof?
They are.
Yeah.
If you're not on the bottom of like 20
exactly.
meters, but they are sealed.
Yeah, they have a rubber sealing here. So they're gonna keep your flies or lures or whatever dry. I'm gonna use it for in my float tube this year because I like to put my box of lures behind me where it's water. So always when I get home, I need to dry up all my lures and flies. But with this one, I hope to not have to do that. It's a really, really good box, both for flies and of course it works just as well for lures. So we're gonna give this one away, and how are we going to do this?
Well, I might throw a fly in that box too. So
okay, and he will throw a fly in there as well. We do like this. We put it up on Instagram after this show, and we can give it away there instead. Like a follow fly dressing thing or whatever.
I'm not going to put this in the...
We can also remind you guys that we have a giveaway coming up after this live show on our Facebook and Instagram with the Limo and these tickets to Sportfiskemässan, the Sport Fishing Fair. On 18th of March, or what is it? Is it 18th? 17th to 19th of March. So we're going to give away these tickets for free and free ride from Stockholm down to Jönköping with a picture in the your left corner, my right corner. That picture, we're going to put it up after the show, and you will have to repost it on your accounts, and you will pick a winner next week.
Luckily, it worked.
Yay, it worked.
It's going to swim even better as soon as the tail and some of the air from the head is gonna get out of that. But the tail, they're made in a certain skin material. Yeah. So, and also when they're painted, they need to become a little bit wet before they will swim really, really well. Yeah. But I think it performs pretty well. Yeah, it's approved. I don't think Niklaus will be sad with that. No, you will catch. I hope not. Great moving fly. So that we got, yeah. I don't know if we can get that UV light to kind of, so you can see how it glows. Yeah, you can actually see that small trigger point, yeah. No, you can't see the bead actually, but you can see that thread wrap. Oh, that's a thread wrap. Thread wrap, yeah. Really visible. So you can see that tail. So I really like this fly. I think it's moving awesome. and it's going to catch a lot of fish in the spring.
And the best situation, you said tube flies, you prefer them when it's super shallow, and this one you prefer when it's slightly deeper?
Well, this fly is going to be very active, so it's going to fish really well even when the water is cold. But I think it's one of these flies that's going to fish slightly even better when the water is a little bit warmer.
And the pike are more active. And
yeah, this is going to make them go nuts, in my opinion. So some new cool material. Hope to see a lot of you guys at the sport fishing fair. I'm going to be there. All our crew is going to be there. Yeah. Of course, we have some surprises that we won't tell you about. I don't know what they will be, but
we'll see about that. Yeah. More comments. Where can I buy that fly box from Andreas Wetterling? It's available at Kanalgratis as well. But of course, most tackle shops have them this year.
He sounds like he's a Swedish guy, so all of the shops, I would say, that carry Vision will have it or already has it in stock.
Yeah.
So it's available. They retail around 200 to around 250.
Crowns, yeah.
There are some different ones. There are a smaller one that is we use it as a fly box for perch flies, and but it's also a really good box for if you use stingers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a bigger one,
size.
The same size but black.
The Big Mama.
And that is good for hook flies. A lot of people are going to use it as a stinger box. These are the new series, and they're actually made in Europe, so they're really good quality, waterproof, good stuff.
Jarul7 wants you to show the tattoo. I don't know which one he means, but show them all.
This is actually based on a T-shirt we bought at Urban Angling in New York a long time ago. They have one of these, so we just tweaked it a little bit. So Matte kind of tweaked it a little bit, and he put a wiggle tail on the fly there. So.
And you did it in a live show?
Yeah, we did it in a live show. Yeah, so you can actually watch us.
In this room, yeah.
And I don't know, here we got a fly here, and we got some pike here, and
really cool tattoos,
of course. But going to be more probably. Sorry, Mom.
Another comment, a tip from Marseille. Tip to you: in order to keep the epoxy warm at all time, you can use kids' bottle warmer.
That was a good
Set the temp on it, and when you finish next fly, you have epoxy warm and ready to use.
That was a really good one. Thanks for that one. I usually boil some water and I just have them in a bucket of warm water, but that gets cold the whole time. So
yeah.
Good tip.
That's a super tip.
You have kids, so I can... you know what we're talking about.
Close.
I got dogs. We don't have any warmers for those.
No. Yeah, that's cool. That's super fun that you can really learn each other and from each other. Even though you have tied a lot of flies, you can always, every time.
I've used epoxy for 25 years. Yeah. Never thought about that, so that's where you can see you can always learn something new.
Thanks for that great tip. A few more questions here to finish it up.
I see Olivier is online here from Belgium.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hi guys. Here. Catching some big ones as usual.
Hiding Green. Do you have any Vision dealers in the US, in the States?
No, we don't. No. We have. I think we have a few dealers that sell some of the spay tackle. Like
salmon stuff.
Salmon stuff up in the kind of the spay district. I think. I would say US and Canada, we don't have any Vision dealers, but I think Vision is available in like 45 countries all over the world, like Japan, Argentina, Chile, but I don't think they are available in the States, in my opinion.
Okay. But you can buy them. You can buy them from here, but the shipping is quite high. So.
Yeah, but you can buy the stuff from Kanalgratis live shop. So.
And if you buy them from our web shop, the shipping is free over 1,500 crowns, and that's like $150.
Yeah, or euros.
Or euros, yeah. And then the shipping is free, whatever you buy. May it be rods, wiggle tails, clothing, anything.
Cool.
Shipping is free over 1,500 crowns.
Cool.
So that's super cool. And what fly line do you use? The Big Daddy 9-weight rod?
I used to use the Big Daddy lines. They have a slightly shorter head, but since we came out with the Big Mama lines, they have a slightly longer head. I kind of prefer that a little bit, but you need to be a little bit more skilled caster to kind of handle that little bit longer head of them. They are very simple to cast, so I'm using mostly Big Mama lines. I use some Big Daddy stills, but I prefer a little bit longer head. But both of those lines, if you're not a really good caster or been fishing for a long time with a fly rod, go for a Big Daddy line. They're very simple to cast along with, even with bulky flies. And one thing with when you're a beginner with flies, don't use too thin tippet. I mean the tippet between the fly line and the wire trace. Go rather too heavy tippet than too light tippet, because it won't turn the flies otherwise, you know. So that's usually a big problem for people. They go like very, very thin tippet because that's what they've been, you know, if they haven't casted big flies before. So go for a little bit thicker tippet.
Cool. One more question here about the shipping costs to Switzerland from Zero Bravo 3. You're correct. The level for free shipping is 150 euros. Otherwise, the shipping is like 15 euros or 14 euros, I think.
I saw some comments about we have vision in Quebec, Canada. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that's great.
I don't really have control of that. I mean, we work in Scandinavia.
You are the
we're the
Scandinavian
distributor
retailer.
for a few countries in Scandinavia. So I don't really have control of that. But as you said, you have it in Canada. I know that. So I should be, because my father's from Canada, so I should know that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay, cool. But well, thanks for this live show. I think we're finished there.
That was cool.
Really fun to tie that live.
Yeah.
Next time, if we do it really like, you know, Tie TV live, we can cut off some of the off-topic talk and speed it up a bit.
Yep.
Now we've been doing this for
I
more than
think it
2.5
will
hours.
never be as affected as when we tie TV, because a lot of people, I think, to do it live is to be able to get the comments and how do you do that, and how this is, you know, fly tying
This is what
a lot
makes
of
it
these,
live. Yeah.
and also the small tips and tricks. That's the one. Those are the important stuff, you know. when
Both
you fly.
ways, you know.
Yeah.
We learn from
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Exactly.
I
that's
learned
super
something
cool.
today. I have to go buy a baby shop today.
Yeah. On the way home.
On the way home, yeah.
Try that right away.
So always useful tips.
Okay, and one last reminder of the Limo giveaway competition on Instagram. I will put them up right when we close the show, and you will find them and you can repost them on your accounts. And also, I want to remind you guys to get tickets for the Fly vs. Jerk finale at Harris. It's going to be really cool.
Yep.
to
I
see.
hope so.
I can say like this: the final episode is going to be very exciting.
So it's gonna all end in the
Nothing
last
is
episode.
nothing is set until the last
cool,
episode.
Cool. So I can't sleep until then.
You can sleep until
Okay.
then, and maybe we will have to celebrate you and Thomas.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, thanks for today. And
Thank you for watching, guys.
If you want to see more fly tying, we have a playlist called Tie TV with only fly tying in English, and we have some old ones in Swedish, but most of them are English now.
Yep.
All kinds of pike flies, trout flies, perch flies, and everything.
And we're going to expand that playlist a lot during the next year. So it's going to be some fun stuff coming up.
Cool.
Have a good Sunday, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So cool.